Very good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is the penultimate Wednesday night at Term 2 of 2026, and the centre of the universe for us for the next 3 or so hours, maybe 3.5, is right there. The Belle Grand Prix venue, formerly, of course, the host of the Detroit stop on the IndyCar Series Tour. We're, of course, on the streets of Belle Isle in Detroit, Michigan, for a full night of street racing and sprint racing out of the merch.GSRC.com 86 series. And also, of course, the Trophi.AI Supercar series. I was just going to say, I noticed that Nathan Bretnell had made his way into our broadcast green room, and I was like, hang on, that's a bit early. Whether he's taken to the grid or not, we'll wait and see. But nonetheless, we'll sort that out a little bit later on, get to the bottom of what that was all about. Maybe he's misplaced himself. Maybe he meant to go to race control. I'm not sure. Good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company on what has been a very big day, from the NHL Stanley Cup to the swimming to Neil Danaher's state funeral, of course. Now all of our focus and attention is on that bit of real estate. That's our playground for the next few hours. Zach Cable alongside Adam Lavis to bring you the 5-race program this evening, and we are very much looking forward to it. That's the state of play in the Toyota 86 series at the moment. Braden Sagassa, 33 points clear of Ben Snell, who has an enormous buffer over Lockie Purvis. Then back to Jeff Adams and Brett Barker, not much in that right now. And then, of course, Richard King on 462 points. Track and weather conditions will be on the right-hand side of your screen as we have a look at the grid now for the first heat of the night. It's the penultimate sprint round of the season because next week will be a super sprint. And grid's not available at this point, by the looks of that. Mitchell McLeod, John Merritt, the front row. Braden Sagassa, Adam Hayden, the second row. Lockie Purvis, Ben Snell, the third row. Guy Leach, Brett Barker, the fourth. Jordan Dakin and Philip Hambley, the fifth. What on earth is going on there, Adam Lavis? There it is, 3.76 kilometres this circuit, ladies and gentlemen. 9:29 a.m. local server time, 13 kilometre an hour winds, 21 degrees the ambient. Those winds are in a westerly direction, and we'll get back to the rest of it in just a moment. On the back of... No, we can't even do results at the moment, so it's all going to be audio only for you, ladies and gentlemen. You're just going to have to listen to us a bit closer than usual. Jeff Adams, Alan Dawson from row 6, Chris Hen, Adam Punto from 7, Richard Brookfield and Richard King from 8, Harrison Rayner and Cam Salver from 9, John Pianazzola, Kevin Wakefield from 10, Brooklyn Bredden from 11 alongside Nathan Bretnell, Tristan Yelland and Harrison Mercer make up the grid here. 23 degrees, the track temperature. Overcast conditions, but so far it's dry. Humidity sitting at 59%. Ready to go in the Motor City. Our playground is steeped in rich history and tradition. It's always a favourite stop on the tour. It's our 4th street circuit of the season on a Wednesday night for the 86s and the Supercars. And of course, it's our 8th and final stop in the United States in this campaign. Snell versus Sagassa for the title, but McLeod and Merritt will lead us to green. McLeod launches beautifully. Let's go. Hayne got the jump on Sagassa on the inside of the run to turn 1 as well. Watch them scramble through here, try and fit their way through. Geez, that was close. Ben Snell got a little bit of a helping hand there, trying to get around the outside of Lockie Purvis, who got tagged by Brett Barker, and they're making their way down towards turn 3 for the first time. Beautifully done. Great start, Adam Hayne up into 3rd. Got the better of Sagassa off the jump. Sagassa, importantly, has Benny Snell at bay right now. It is Sagassa by 33 in this points race going into this round. And remember, next week is a super sprint night. So 3 races, 2 inverts, and it is Mount Panorama Bathurst, so it's not going to be easy work for them. Next Wednesday night, through they go. Chris Hen there in 12th spot at the moment. Remember that there's an invert top 10 here. Alan Dawson currently holds the invert hole shot of 10. Down the back straight, 15 minutes ahead of us here. We will have a splash and dash component to the second race, of course. Jeff Adams under pressure from Adam Fonslow down on the inside for 13. Relatively clean opening lap in the Motor City. Don't want to speak too soon, of course. There's still another race start to come in this round, and don't forget it's a super sprint night for the supercars, so 3 bites of the cherry for them. Races 14, 15 and 16 of the campaign. This is races 13 and 14 of the 86 Challenge. And it's all live, exclusive and free and loud on a Wednesday night across Facebook and YouTube. Across the line we go, one gone in the Motor City. We're looking at about that 1 minute 40 threshold for a lap around here, 146 the standing lap. That will come down. And 1 minute 40 and 2 is 3:21 is 5. So we're looking at about 9 laps for this opening heat. Good evening to you, Adam Lavis. I'm a little bit surprised at how clean that opening lap was, all things considered.
Yeah, 2 things for that first lap. We had not a single incident for the whole field. So they all go through the lap 1 clearly around Detroit, which is a high achievement, especially given that the 86 has always been like a highly risk incident series. So we've got the fight out there with Merritt and...
Oh. Come on! Adam Hayne gets turned by John Merritt. The argy-bargy started well before that, and Hayne drops down to 9th. Make it 10th. Goes it around the outside. Hayne will get him back on the inside, and the shots are being fired on lap 2.
That's very unlucky by Hayne, unfortunate there. I'm sure they'll be called in. And my other thing I was going to say was McLeod's just bolted. He's left the field for dead, and he doesn't want any part of this. He just wants a nice clean run.
Pretty cool. Now Adam Hayne's almost in trouble here with Alan Dawson still on his inside. Hayne around the outside, driving with the red mist having already descended. Covers off both Dawson and Hambley. They're in 10th and 11th. Let's hope they remember the compulsory pit stop this week as well, those boys from Northwind. Bretnell and Mercer swapping around 21st and 22nd. 23 starters. No Brooklyn Bredden for Northwind. Let's have a look at this from John Merritt's standpoint. There was, oh, jeez. Yeah, no, that was... There's more to that, surely. Was there a shot fired from Adam Hayne on the previous corner and Merritt was returning serve? I'm not sure. That did not look like the usual gentlemanly etiquette of hot lap. Let's have a look at this. Oh, 3 wide, that'll do it. So, obviously, Hayne was trying to move across to cover, to defend the 1-9 entry of Lockie Purvis on the outside. And
it looked more like Hayne was just holding his line to try and keep John tight, and John tried to force the issue to open his corner up, and that's you can't really move across with the car there just sitting there.
Mate Merritt wasn't having a bar of it, was he? He did not want any of that. Through we go. The second lap of proceedings here. That is John Merritt. Sorry, the third lap of proceedings here. That is John Merritt in second position. 1 minute 40.987 for Mitch McLeod. Again, 9 laps this opening heat based on those numbers. Side by side we go. Merritt certainly under investigation, you would imagine. Sagassa down on the outside. Purvis is 6th at the moment behind Barker and Snell, who have latched onto this battle with Sagassa. So Benny Snell and Braden Sagassa, the 2 championship combatants, right there where you want them to be. Although, as you can see, Sagassa's trying to force the issue here and find a way by hot lap to try and give himself a little bit of distance, breathing space, away from Ben Snell. But catching John Merritt's one thing, passing him quite another, and a formidable opponent for these guys on his day. So he'll bring plenty of pace to the table and won't make it easy for them to work on through, and we saw that last week at Road America as well. Here's what happened to Kevin Wakefield on the Disruptive Ones replay. Harrison Rayner also in trouble. Oh, jeez, yeah.
Oh, you got a clip from Jordan there, and he saved it, but then overcorrected, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, yeah, trying to overtake is one thing, but when you're curved up at 45 degrees, riding the ripple strip all the way around, yeah, race control won't probably view that too favourably, I wouldn't imagine. To the right-hander, right on board with Benny Snell. McLeod, meanwhile, has broken clear, 3.5 seconds to the good. 6 minutes gone here in Motor City, Wednesday night Motorsport exclusive live and free on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Huge Wednesday night. We're swimming on Channel 9 for those of you that want to check that out. That'll be 9 Gem in WA and SA for the moment due to the current affair and the time difference. Merritt wide out of 9.
It's not much room. There's not much room in the little short shoe to go too wide, but they pulled it off. I think Sagasa was trying for an over and under there, but that's the tightest one, or second tightest one, in fact. That one's the tightest one. Oh, he's got a run here. This could be tricky.
Now we'll get it. Right, now we'll get it. Merritt didn't get a good enough run out of turn 12. Through 13 they'll go. Sagasa to the inside. Sagasa to second. Benny nearly got turned by Brett Barker, I reckon, as well. He's there in fourth right now. You can see Harrison Rayner has a mechanical meatball next to him on the totem pole. Across the line we go. 4 done, 5 to go. Great start for Mitch McLeod. 5 seconds clear ahead of this battle pack. Currently holding the invert pole with Alan Dalton in 10th spot. Adam Haynes still got back by. And John Merritt cops a 5-second penalty for his involvement in that incident with Adam Hayne. That'll be for Racing Room, nothing more, I would imagine. Phil Hambley and Chris Hand. Oh, trouble. Massive trouble. Huge crash in the Motor City. 6 of them involved. Cam Southall caught up. And it's a car park out of turn 1 and 2. Mercer, Rayner, Hambley all on the tow rope. There's a black flag next to one of the competitors. Let's have a look. Oh, no, that was always going to end poorly. Everybody just got checked up. Poor Cam Southall had nowhere to go. Oh, my goodness. Way to wipe out a quarter of the field. Bang. Richard King and Jeff Adams, the two subpar racing entries, caught up in that. Brookfield and Southall have been able to continue on. Watch Southall here. You thought he was clear, but then watch this. Bang. Pinata. All with Chris Hand bouncing back off the Northwind car that was already parked up against the concrete. We'll have another look at that. At Brookfield, Southall, mechanical meatballs next to their name. Hand and Hambler the same. And we've already seen Rayner and Mercer make their way to pit lane as well. In fact, Mercer is still on pit road. Rayner was there for 42 seconds. Now Mercer departs. I'm not sure who had the black flag next to their name. That has been cleared from our totem pole. And all of a sudden, that... Oh, no, trouble. Oh, jeez. Lap traffic now firmly in the road here. Mercer moves to one side, lets everybody through. Sagasa, Merritt, Snell. We know that Merritt's got 5 seconds coming his way, so at the moment, he's dropping down behind Adam Hayne on the track. We're on lap 6. We've got 3 to go. McLeod, Sagasa, Merritt, Snell, Barker, and Purvis. The running order: Leach, Dakin, Ben Hayne, Dawson, Funslow, and Jeff Adams. Now, this is the thing, right? We talk all the time, Adam Lavis, about the 1%ers that iRacing's improving on. We were talking about what might come in the content drop, the big update that's on its way for Season 3 of their year, of course, which gets underway, I think, next week. This is week 13, isn't it? So we're into grand final week. They're into week 1 of a new season. All the content comes this week, including San Diego, so naval-based circuit for the NASCAR. That looks absolutely magnificent, by the way. You may have seen the previews on your social media feeds this morning as you were waking up or as you were going to sleep, one or the other, depending upon which part of the world you're in. It did drop very early this morning, Australian Eastern Time. I was still awake for some unknown reason. McLeod, Sagasa, Merritt, Snell, Barker, the top 5 here. But this is the point, right? So look at John Merritt. He's got a 5-second invoice coming his way. That currently drops him down behind Alan Dawson in 10th place on time. But he will still inherit P3 on the track in terms of the invert top 10. So he'll be P8 on the grid for the next race. So it can help and hinder. But it's one of those 1%ers that we'd love from a race control standpoint, Adam Lavis, to be able to manipulate the results on the go and apply those penalties in server so that they can carry over into invert situations such as what we're going to have here in a few moments' time.
Yeah, definitely. Like, technically, iRacing does have an option to give people time penalties, but it doesn't work how we'd like it. So basically, you'd say iRacing give this person a 10-second penalty. It's 10 seconds on top of a 30 or 25-second stop and hold type thing. So it ends up giving it way more time. Like, you go to a stop and stop and hold, plus speed to give them. So it's not the time penalty we're trying to give them. So maybe with the RC update, that might fix things, but I don't know if that did drop yet. I haven't had a chance to read the specs from the sheet from last night's update. So, but yeah, there is, as they've been talking for the last year and a half, there'll be an RC update. But it will be good if we have some tools to make that a bit more realistic in the future.
Mitch McLeod, meanwhile, has extended his lead out to 5.5 seconds. There's Adam Hayne on the inside of Jordan Dakin for 8th. The comeback continues for Adam Hayne in the HGS Racing entry. He's looking at 3rd on the grid for race 2. Dakin and Dawson follow. Funslow further back. Merritt now, whilst these guys are squabbling, is actually going to finish 8th on corrected order. Once all this is sorted out, 2 laps to go for McLeod. If things were to end now, Merritt has got 5 seconds on Jordan Dakin and Alan Dawson. He doesn't have it on Adam Hayne yet, but he's bloody tight, bloody close to having it. 0.1 of a second, in fact. He's chasing Braden Sagasta at the moment. He's broken clear of the battle pack. Billy Snell's going with him for company. And they've broken clear of Purvis, Barker and Leach down towards turn number 3 we go. 5.5 seconds to the good Mitch McLeod. Forget about him, very lonely run at the front of the field, but you don't mind that sometimes, particularly in the 86s where everything's so cutthroat. But he will have his work cut out for him in the second race, trying to work his way through the field. As you've already seen, it's easy to set and go, because once you get an incident, it doesn't matter how wide the racetrack is, you can so easily become an innocent bystander, as 5 or 6 cars just found out a short while ago. Now there's a race control message coming through. It's a 15-second penalty for Philip Hambley for causing that 5-car wreck. And they've attributed the blame on him. It won't matter, an absolute bugger all, because he is there well clear of Mercer at the moment and behind everybody else that was implicated in that. The Harrison Rayner's just had a second incident. The only 2 that aren't going to benefit from that penalty being handed to Hambley is Mercer, Rayner and Hen. Mercer because he's too far behind Hambley. Rayner and Hen because they're stuck on pit road on the tow rope. And that penalty will still be applied, but it won't have an effect, won't have an impact whatsoever. White flag flies on the streets of Detroit. I think I saw the white flag. I hope Barney's on deck. Yeah, good. I thought this was one of the circuits that he had already been bolted into. So you'll see a full night of Barney, which is a nice change of pace. Normally he struggles to find his way to some of these locations. Jordan Dakin under pressure here from Alan Dawson. Whoa! Almost. Yep. Now they are definitely locking mirrors. Dawson tucks it behind Dakin for the moment. McLeod is 6 seconds clear of Sagasta, under pressure from Merritt and still on the final lap. P for the championship for Benny Snell here to try and get away by Merritt. He won't get Sagasta this late in the piece, and I don't think he's going to get Merritt either. He's going to have to consolidate 4th. Sagasta not clean through 9. Will that open the door? No, it won't. Merritt and Snell tuck in and follow him through. Final lap, final corners on the streets of Detroit. Nice to be back in the Motor City on a Wednesday night. Our 4th stop on the tour as far as street racing is concerned for the season. And Mitch McLeod, how good to have him back on a regular basis behind the wheel of an 86, doing what he does best. And going to a rather comfortable victory in the opening heat of the night here on the magnificent Belle Isle. Second will go to Sagasta. Merritt Snell, Merritt just 0.04 of a second. Brentnell ended up in an incident here through turn 1. Yep. He didn't have any steering going into the corner, and he's got even less coming out.
I think he's hit a lot in the corner, and now he's got 3 wheels in his wagon, unfortunately.
Trying to limp it home, and will do so potentially in 19th, but I dare say with Hambley coming home hard and fast, he may well find a way past Brentnell. Brentnell may be able to keep within 15 seconds, but I doubt it. Across the line we go, photo for 16th. Wakefield holds off Brookfield by 1/10 of a second. McLeod too good. Sagassa in for second. 7 seconds the winning margin. And McLeod just threw insult to injury with clear air. The fastest lap of the race on the final lap, 1 minute 40.753. Sagassa, Merritt, then Snell. Purvis held off Barker. Reach, Hayne, good recovery. Dakin and Dawson. Merritt's penalty is going to see him drop down only to position number 8. Adam Hayne will go to 7th. Hayne was able to keep within 5 seconds of Merritt there in all of that. Dakin and Dawson fell way back on the final lap. Cam Southall's in more trouble, coming home after the fact. And Brentnell is still trying to limp his way to the line. This is Tristan Yelland out there on the closing lap. Credit where it's due to Brentnell. If he can limp it all the way to the line, that's a fair effort.
The only thing is, there is a timer that may, like there is a maximum time to get to the line. So, will he get there before iRacing says time's up? He's getting close.
2.5 minutes into overtime already. He's going to make it, you would imagine, across the line. Very nicely done. It helps that Tristan Yellen stayed out there on the circuit on a cool-down lap. Bracknell across the line, and that is position number 20. So Hambley will go 19th, and he'll get that, as I said, that 15-second penalty is null and void. I couldn't think of the right word there a moment ago, folks. It's applied, but it's null and void because it makes no difference whatsoever to his position on that totem pole at the end. But what about that? The rate of attrition in that race, my goodness. John Merritt, the only one that's worth noting, he will drop down to 8th. A 5-second penalty and a 5-position drop for John. And Adam Hayne will feel as though that's justification and vindication. But as I said, it won't change the fact that John's still going to start from position number 8 in this invert race, and Adam Hayne is going to start from position number 3. So you're probably putting a bet on Adam Hayne in this second race ahead of Mitch McLeod if he can get clear of Jordan Dakin and Alan Dawson quickly enough and give himself some breathing space, because we know what he's like when he finds clear air. Adam Hayne, unlucky in that opening race. We're here with thanks to the great people at Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophi.AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. Oh, hello everybody in the comments section. Nice to have you all tuning in. Sorry, I didn't even realise you were there.
I may have forgot to
Didn't hear. Copy that. Thank you, Adam. I was going to say I didn't hear from them in the opening, but they're here. So welcome along, folks. Great to have your company. Best way to spend a Wednesday night is with us here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We're here next week as well. Now, next week, okay, let's just nip this in the bud now. Merch.tgsrci.com, GSRC merch.myshopify.com. Go and grab yourself some GSRC merch and paraphernalia, and make sure you put it on whilst you're sitting there in front of your sports bar entertainment setup, watching the broadcast, cheering your favourites on. But next week, you're going to need 3 screens. I'm boycotting State of Origin because I don't think the ref should have retained his job. He should have been put on the bench. So rather than get frustrated at him ruining another game of football, I'm boycotting that next Wednesday night. But I know a lot of you will be watching that. Some of you will be watching us. But at the same time, the girls cricketers, the Australians, the ICC Women's T20 World Cup will be underway. They'll be playing Bangladesh this time next Wednesday night, and you'll be able to watch it all live and free on Amazon Prime. Yes, free. They've made the ICC Women's T20 available to all free of charge. You just have to have an Amazon account. You don't have to have a monthly subscription to their streaming platform. You'll be able to watch that for free. Australia and Bangladesh next Wednesday night. 10 past 10 local server time, 10 kilometre an hour winds, westerly tending northwesterly direction, and 10 kilometres an hour. 21 degrees the ambient, 23 on track. There's the grid for heat 2. Dawson, Dakin, Hayne, Leach, then Barker, Purvis, then Snell and Merritt, then Sagassa and McLeod. What a lineup that is. The 4 men that turned it on last week in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, launching from rows 4 and 5 on this grid. From 6, it's Funslow and Adams from 7. It's Tristan Yelland and Jordan Pianazola from 8, Richard King and Kevin Wakefield from 9, Richard Brookfield and Cam Southall from 10, rather. It's Hambley and Brentnell, then Mercer, Rayner and Hen round out the 23 car field. 4th last one of the term for the 86s. Let's go to work in the Motor City. One of the subpar entries bogged it down. Jeff Adams, I think it was. He got swamped on the run towards turn 1, 3 wide that one, and well, they somehow got away with it, but it was definite contact. Definite panel rubbing there. Adams slots back into position number 15 after botching the start. Let's go. Guy Leach slots into position number 5. Look at the comments coming in here, huh? Have a look at this. Alan Dawson, Adam Hayne, Jordan Dakin, Ben Stell, Guy Leach, Brett Barker, John Merritt. Mark my words, New South Wales win the series next Wednesday night, new lot. Queensland track record in Melbourne this century at the MCG specifically. Atrocious. They've only won there once on 7 previous occasions. That's why the 14 and 12 moment we saw in game 1 was so vitally crucial to the outcome of the series. Queensland will go to Suncorp 2-0 down and they'll win the dead rubber. It'll be 2-1. Mark my words, that's how it plays out. We don't need to watch the game to really know how it's going to evolve. Mitch McLeod has got up into 8th spot on the opening lap. He's got ahead of Braden Sagastro. Lockie Purvis botched the start, down 4 spots. Lockie, Barker down 2 spots. Leach and Dakin down 1. Merritt up 2. McLeod up 2. Early on, Adam Hayne up 1 spot early on in the piece. Oh, Jeff Adams and Rayner. Jeff Adams and Rayner, black flags. Adams has gone in to serve his. Rayner still has one to serve.
Oopsies.
Oh yeah, jump start, that'll do it. What about Rayner? Same? Just sounded like he had a box full of neutrals there at the line, Jeff Adams, once he realised he jumped the start. Oh dear. And actually, to be fair, just going back to finish on the Origin thing, if I was the bunker advising that bald-headed Dill that it was only a sin binning, oh yeah, that's a big jump start from Harrison Rayner. Yeah. That's enormous.
Yeah, so Jeff's just a mistake of putting in gear with no clutch in. Rayner's a legit jump start where he's anticipated lights and mid-timed it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was the bunker and had the referee on field going against the recommendations coming from within, because Klein was the one that said, no, mate, it's a send-off, and they're all saying, no, it's a sin bin at worst, it's a sin bin, at most. If I was the bunker, I'd be putting up a vote of no confidence and saying, look, find someone else to do the job, we won't work with this bloke. Across the line, Rayner with a drive-through penalty to serve. Adam Hayne has got to the front. Alan Dawson to second. Benny Snow on the inside of Jordan Dakin for third. Dakin back down the inside at turn 2. That crisscross occurs quite regularly here on this circuit. Now they weave, now they drag, now they slice and dice down to turn 3. Snell down on the inside. Under pressure from Leach now up on the outside. And Hot Laps following them through as well. Cam Southall's been pit lane already and back out. Just reminding everybody, CPS in this race. 1 compulsory pit stop in race 2. Next week that compulsory pit stop will not be in races 1 or 2, but it will be in race 3. Rayner still hasn't served the drive-through. I think he's got this lap left to serve, and that's it, Adam. If he doesn't serve it this time, they'll throw it, for sure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Hamlin in trouble. Oh, no, boys, no! Hang down the inside of the pair of them. Trouble, yeah. That was never going to end well. So Southall and Hen. So this might explain why Southall's come to pit lane to grab that stop. Oh, wow. Yep. Southall had no choice. And Hen finds himself on the tow rope. In they come. Purvis and King to pit road. Whoa, Dakin, that was close. Under pressure from Kingslight down the inside for 9th. And of course, don't forget tomorrow morning, folks, whilst I'm on the subject of talking about all the other big sporting events that are coming up, mechanical meatballs left, right and centre here, South and Wakefield as well. Rain has still got that black flag next to his name, and he's come through to start lap 4, so I wouldn't be surprised if they disqualify him. They being the iRacing server settings, the powers that be, that control the internal matrix.
This might be his last chance, because this might be, like in real world, it's 3 times past the line, so that was his 3rd time, so he goes across again, I assume he'll be disqualified.
Unlucky. Hambley and Mercer, Hambley's come back out onto the track. Wakefield, King have completed their stop. Purvis as well. Mercer now comes out after 38.83 seconds stationary. Southall and Hen have also completed their stops, although Hen has parked up and retired, and I think Southall might have done so as well. Mercer comes through in 237.895, so difficult sort of lap there for Harrison Mercer. I was saying, yes, tomorrow morning, NBA finals continuing, swimming continuing, and of course, the precursor to the FIFA World Cup as well, folks. There's a like an opening ceremony pre-tournament concert on tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. in the West Coast, 1 o'clock in New Zealand. For Australian audiences, you're going to see it on SBS.
Oh.
Rayner's done. I don't see how he survives this.
Yep,
Across the line at the end of lap 4. Black flag, gone, excluded. See you later, thanks for coming. Harrison Rayner's race has been run. He will go no further. So you can take him out of the equation, out of 12th spot. Everybody else will move up a spot as a result of that. 7.5 minutes gone. We're going 25 minutes here, so, oh God, 15 laps. Are we happy with that? About 15 laps, I envisage, for this race. No more, no less. Rayner now showing is out, and that's an on-track just ejection.
Yeah, so what
taking place there.
What iRacing normally does is it tells you after you cross the line you've been disqualified, and it gives you I think about 20 or 30 seconds before it actually does have up live disqualification. It's there to tell you if you're on like a fun server with friends or whatever, you got time to clear the black type situation.
Across the strike again, lap 6 is done. Mechanical meatball for Phil Hambley now. He's already been to pit lane, so this will be a second transit of the lane for him, an unscheduled one at that. Just finding his way in trouble tonight, Hambley. And Tristan Yellen with the 10-second penalty. The contact on Christopher Hen a few moments ago. Meanwhile, at the front, this is nice and juicy, isn't it? This is nice and spicy. Hayne, Dawson. Well done to Alan Dawson. Credit where it's due. Fought hard for 9th and 10th in that previous race. He's only dropped 1 spot during the early part of this second race, and he's keeping Ben Snell, John Merritt, Mitch McLeod, Braden Sagasa, and Guy Leach at bay. And, Adam Hayne's not breaking too far clear of this pack either. So this race is well and truly alive as we head towards the halfway mark. We're about 3 minutes away from that marker, or 2 laps. The end of lap 6 is upon us. Lap times in the 1:41s regularly. Great to see Adam Hayne having a clean and clear run. No further reaction, Chris and Cam Southall, and that's the right call, let's be honest. Penn had the crash, and unfortunately just the impact of the crash gave Cam Southall no option but to sacrifice himself. There was nothing he could have possibly done about that. Just a fairly innocent bystander. Down the back straight. Sagasa 1 minute 40.615, fastest lap of the race. We're riding on board. The man in third, the man that he's up against for the championship, very Snell. Chasing Dawson. At what point does he pull the trigger and try and make a move here? Surely he's hoping to get it done down this back straight, but Dawson's been too good. Dawson has not put a foot wrong so far. And it's very hard to execute an overtaking manoeuvre around here, Adam, at the best of times, but even more so when your opponents aren't giving you any open opportunity. I mean, Snell's probably hoping for just a missed braking marker, a little bit of a slide, some sort of moment for Dawson, and Dawson's not giving him any of that at the moment. And in fact, Dawson's catching Adam Haynes, so this race is well and truly alive.
Yeah, it's sort of a double-edged sword, because like you need the person in front to make a slight mistake, give yourself a run. But also, once you get real close to the car in front around a street circuit, you lose all your reference points, and a slight deviation from your racing line on a street course could easily end your race. So there's a bit of a damn if you do, damn if you don't, as you try and get on the bumper of the car ahead to force a minimum mistake.
Indeed.
Bit of pit lane chicken back there.
Yes, McLeod and Leach have gone in, everybody else has stayed out. Meanwhile, that margin's now under half a second.
You should see
where
McLeod comes out in relation to Purvis.
Correct. Whoa, scraping the wall. Snell or Merritt, kissing the concrete. Merritt to the outside, Snell defending on the inside. Sagasa looking for his own line. He's got nowhere through. No way of getting through that wall of Snell and Merritt at the moment. Correct, Trav, absolutely. And a bit more work for you in race control. Jeff Adams to pit lane for his second stop. This one, of course, an actual stop. The first one was a drive-through. Trav bracing himself. I think we all are as well. Dawson has broken clear. He's lost contact with Snell and Merritt. So Snell is now firmly focused on defending his two round rivals. Snell and Merritt as opposed to, Sagasa and Merritt as opposed to trying to go with Dawson and Hayne. Either that or they're looking at their numbers and going to try and one-up these guys, both Hayne and Dawson, on strategy. Funslow under pressure here from Brookfield, and they are 7.5 seconds off the pace at the moment. They are also yet to stop, so the top 8 yet to stop, and so too Nathan Brentnell. Now Philip Handley on pit lane trying to clear his mechanical meatball. In comes Braden Sagasa now. Black flag again for Jeff Adams. Wow. He can't take a trick tonight. When it rains, it pours. In they go. Funslow left it late. Brookfield goes in. So too Pianozola. And Sagasa was already there. Hayne, Dawson, Snell, Merritt yet to stop. So too Brentnell. We are more than halfway through on the streets of Detroit. We're on lap 9 of what we envisage will be 15. This is why Jeff Adams has been slugged. Although, I don't think it's the entry, Adam. I think it's the exit, because the black flag come up after.
He may have got done with the new things. I think he was changing gears there. Yeah. So they've fixed the thing where you can't do the gear shift trick anymore, so you might have got done by that.
Yeah, righto. So that means he's got to transit the lane for third time to clear his second drive-through of the night, to clear the black flag again. And again, there's too long left in this race for him not to be able to do it. And because it's not, and because it's a black flag, not a mechanical, there's no leniency there. There's no discretion. There's no flexibility. It has to be cleared by the checkered flag, or otherwise you get slugged again. Supercars still to come, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. They'll get underway for you. Meanwhile, that battle where 9th, 10th, 11th. That's where the boys have come back out. Brett Barker in relation to Adam Funzlow and Richard Brookfield and Richard Kidden, Jordan Dakin and Jordan Pianazzola. They're the next train through. There they are. And if they can latch on, we'll have a 6-car battle. Jeff Adams back into pit lane now. But this is a lot longer stop for him. Maybe he's just decided to cut his losses and park it at him. So a high rate of attrition here. Undisqualification. 5 genuine retirements, including this one from Kevin Wakefield. Because the problem is, now that they've got mechanical meatballs and they don't have fast repairs to fall back on, they've got no choice. They've got to sit there and just pay the invoice in its entirety. No magic click of the fingers here. Jeff Adams, Kevin Wakefield, Harrison Mercer, that's still a Pamley.
Not sure what's happened to Kevin there.
No. Britnell yet to stop, so to the top 4. Not much in this. Have a look at them. Have a look at them. Hayne, Dawson, Snell, Merritt. Alan Dawson's a real live chance here. There's no doubt about that. McLeod and Sagassa have found one another as well. So Sagassa is right there nipping at the heels of McLeod in the battle pack for 5th. The two cars that we expect. Snelly zigs and everybody else zags. They go on again for an 11th lap. Snelly pits at the end of 10. 5 to go in the Motor City. I hope I've got that right. Yes. No, we're good. Hayne, Dawson, Merritt, Snell out in 4.85. He's going to be right there with McLeod and Sagassa, you would imagine. Let's watch this. Out they come. Out comes Snell. Oh, beautiful. The C's have aligned nicely there because once McLeod and Sagassa get up to pace, and he's going to be on the defence. Beautiful. Just as we wanted it. McLeod's right there with Ben Snell. And the championship contenders are in each other's line of sight once more. Greg Heaney's in the house. We'll get to him in a moment. I'm wondering why the great man's here this early in the piece. It's a much earlier than expected arrival from G. Heaney, probably with a view to the supercars in a few moments' time. But Hayne, Dawson, Merritt, 1, 2, 3. Snell, McLeod, Sagassa, the best placed of those that have completed their stop already. And I say that Sagassa's in Snell's line of sight, but that's albeit via the rear view mirror. Sagassa can definitely see Snelly, but he's got to get by the Carlton Draft entry of Mitch McLeod first and foremost. And speaking of Carlton Draft, I reckon there would have been a few of those sunk at the Melbourne Cricket Ground today as Victoria and Australia more to the point. Greg stopped to pay tribute to Neil Danaher.
Oh, most likely. The reason I'm here is I've made a human mistake and buggered up the server for the V8s. I had, for whatever reason, too short a time period for the practice, so I've then gone to try and correct my mistake, and I've mistaked my mistake again, so I've had to do it again. More of just a reminder to the boys out there. I don't know if any of the guys in the cars in the 86s will be listening, but some of them may be, some of them may not be. For anybody that is, there is a server up that is actually correct now that will allow the guys from the 86s to get in there and actually get a couple laps in for maybe at the end of practice and a bit of qualifying, obviously.
Copy that. Human error. It's a shame when that happens. How are you feeling about the supercars tonight, Gregory?
Well, we'll see how we go. I was, I think, 5th in Dev for practice in the server that was, and we'll see what happens when I jump into the one that is. Any
wet weather?
No. I did ask the guys. Apparently 16% chance in the final race of tonight was a little bit too much. So I played God, though I haven't re-looked at the forecast for next week, and I don't intend to. So we shall see how that plays out, because it's backwards.
It's backwards in winter, so I mean we don't have the capacity to incorporate sleet or snow into the forecast, but some rain I wouldn't rule out.
I could certainly make it cold enough.
Yes, absolutely you could. Absolutely you could.
I'll leave you boys here to get back to the comms, and I'm going to go jump back in the super.
Thank you for the update, mate. Appreciate that. Good luck. Go well.
No worries. Thank you.
We'll chat at the end. Meanwhile, whilst all that was playing out, you may have noticed, yep, right where we want them, ladies and gentlemen. John Merritt's fallen off the pace. Rocky Purvis as well. But look at this. Here's Alan Dawson coming back out onto the racetrack. Unfortunately, he's going to get gobbled up and pounced on by all of them. Merritt goes through into fifth. Can Merritt catch on? Latch on to Adam Hayne. Round two, anybody? 3 to go in the Motor City, and look at this. McLeod to the outside of Snell. Snell defends for dear life on the inside. Here comes Brayton Sagassa as well. McLeod looking for the double. Snell looking for another race win. Sagassa needing to beat Snell with a view to next week's championship decider at Mount Panorama. And here comes Adam Hayne. Looking for redemption after it all went belly up earlier with John Merritt. Merritt's latched on. Dawson's only a second and a half away. 6 or 7 championship race winning contenders here. In the second race, the fourth last one of the turn. McLeod to the outside. McLeod to the outside of Snell. You're kidding me. Can he pull it off? No. He's got his guys down on the inside. Snell will cover that off. Sagassa around the outside and under pressure from Adam Hayne on the inside. Sagassa to third. Merritt trying to get around the outside of Hayne a lot quicker than earlier. 2 to go. Geez, it's livened up quite nicely now. It wasn't lively earlier. It's livened up beautifully here with 2 to go. Replay. This is what happened earlier. Richard King getting carved up. Oh. That's slow and painful to watch for Richard. 2 to go, Adam Hayne for HTS Racing. Kevin Wakefield's on pit road. Jeff Adams is parked up. Harrison Mercer, Phil Hambley, Harrison Rayner, Cam Southall, Chris Henn. It's a who's who in the retirement ranks tonight. Sagassa to the inside of McLeod. Sagassa to the inside of McLeod. No. Oh, here we go. A rate of attrition that is very, very high, with only 16 guaranteed finishes here. They've all got through that 75% threshold. Mercer and Hambley have got back out there, but they're not even going to be classified. They're not going to complete 75%. There is a post-race investigation pending on the incident with Richard King.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be race control, because Richard was moving across when it was 3 wide there, so probably a little bit more needing time to really investigate on that one for race control to see who's actually involved.
A lap and a quarter to go. Have a look at Sagassa. So close to Mitchell McLeod. Still is holding reins, holding sway. He has control of this field. They're going to see the white flag this time by. There's a minute on the clock. Merritt and Hayne have come together again! Merritt and Hayne have come together again! And this time it's Merritt on the receiving end of a trip to the concrete!
Oh, I thought he was broken and he might get away with it.
Do you reckon that might have been a little bit of get square?
He does have a mean ball. No, I think it was just this ran out of track there.
Oh boy, here's McLeod chasing Snell. They've seen the white flag. They know they're on the run home. McLeod to the outside again. He's tried this move without success on a few occasions tonight. Sagassa to the inside. He wanted to try and get the pair of them. McLeod around the outside. Snell to the inside. Whoa, they're going to run out of track if they're not careful. Hayne and Dawson are there side by side in the battle for fourth. Purvis is fifth, or sixth I should say, holding off Guy Leach. Brett Barker, McLeod to the inside of Snell goes to the lead. Here comes Sagassa around the outside of his championship opponent and rival. Back straight, final time. The Motor City delivers yet again. It could well be another race win for Mitch McLeod on the way here. Could well be a double up on the straight to Detroit. Sagasa to the outside, Snelly to the inside. Geez, they've raced closely and cleanly all night. Snell's too far back. McLeod's got this one. Here comes the gas man to the inside. No, not close enough to have a look at Snell. The switchback isn't even on either. Snelly's covered that off. Hayne holding off Dawson in the battle for fourth at the moment. And Mitch McLeod on his way to victory lane again. On his way to a double in the Motor City. On little old Belle in Detroit, Michigan, Mitch McLeod wins the penultimate round of the GR86 Challenge on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club with thanks to merch.GSRC.inc. Sagasa in for third behind Snelly, Hayne, Dawson, Purvis and Leach the next four through. Then Adam Funzo, John Merritt and Richard Brookfield.
It's the track there, like, they made contact as into the fence end, so I think John just hasn't quite left enough room there.
Wowee. McLeod, Snell, Sagasa, Hayne, Dawson. Brentnell had a moment post-race. John Merritt no further action for racing room. He's out of fuel.
I don't think he stopped. I think he just tried to go to the end.
Didn't get the memo that it was a CPS race. Bad luck. Bad luck.
Yeah, there's no further action. It was on the screen really quickly there, so John Merritt, no further action.
Yep, no further action, so that's no harm, no foul. And unfortunate, but that's racing sometimes. He got 5 seconds earlier for the incident with Hayne. He doesn't get invoiced this time through, and neither does Hayne. Have a look at that for the casualty ward, ladies and gentlemen. That's, I said retirement earlier, I meant casualty ward. I'm having a shocker. Mercer, Hambley, Adams, Wakefield, Rayner, Southall and Henn, all in the casualty ward tonight. Yes, Mercer and Hambley saw the checkered flag, but they were 5 laps down. They will not be classified on 75%. McLeod wins it from Snell, Sagasa, Hayne, Dawson, Purvis, Leach. I apologise, I left Barker out of that when I was running through the top 10 earlier. He was 8th. Then Funslow and Merritt. Merritt did well with a broken car to get himself home in position number 10. Meanwhile, having these blokes rock and roll tonight. Championship combatants duking it out, albeit with the thorn in their side. Mitch McLeod throwing his hat to the ring and saying, don't leave me out of this fight. I'm a genuine championship winning contender when I can be here on a Wednesday night. And he's proven that, because that'll be a second round win on the trot for Mitch. And 3 race wins out of the last 4 for him as well. And he's only started 7 races this season. He's finished all of them in the top 5. So Mitch McLeod, the form man at the moment. But the championship will be decided at the Mecca of Australian Motorsport, the Holy Grail that is Mount Panorama next week. And the fight will be between 2 men. They join us now. And the man that's third in the championship, I think it'll be interesting to get his thoughts on all of that as well, whether he can secure third next week or whether Jeff Adams or Brett Barker or Richard King might make life a little bit more difficult for him on the run home. We'll hear from them very shortly. Mitch McLeod's about to join us as well. I've been looking forward to this. I'll get to you blokes in just a moment, Mr. Sagasa, Mr. Purvis and Mr. Snell, but Mitchy McLeod is in the house and in victory lane and has done the double on a street circuit. Are you kidding me? Well done.
Thanks, Ben. Sorry, I was trying to find a push talk. So yeah, no, what a race that was. I thought pitting early, I had the pace, I'd come through in that final, but no, obviously Snelly had a ripper pit stop. I'm going to have to try and poach his picture, I think, because yeah, the fact I was looking at the lap times and I was like, oh no, I should have him. And then when he came out just in front of me, oh no, I've lost this. And yeah, obviously credit to Benny as well, because going side by side in a street circuit and not killing each other, that was an absolute awesome effort. So yeah, props to him too.
And not everyone's so lucky to be able to race side by side and come home cleanly. Made a fair few crashes out there tonight, which you expect with the real estate in which we're playing on. But a phenomenal performance from you. The other point as well, when you mentioned about coming out and having Benny right there, we were a little bit curious as to how that was going to play out, because Benny was up to speed, but you had track position, and on more than one occasion tonight, it was evident that it was very difficult to execute an overtake and make it stick here.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it was Braden as well when he pitted, because I obviously did have a little bit of a slow stop. I was a bit worried about speeding and all that, and he sort of come out and he just sort of lifted. I was a bit closer with him, but he lifted and let me through, and just wanted to follow me and not fight, obviously. And when it happened with Benny, he was a little bit further up the road, but I was still sort of trying to think, am I going to plan this right? But then, once you get going, if someone covers like Benny did those last few laps, it's very, very hard to get around. And I knew him and Braden are in a championship position. They're going for it. I was like, well, I don't want to do anything stupid here, but I still want to get the double.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you could have probably sat in second, wrapped up the night, but no, typical racer fashion. You got the job done, and you didn't muck around. You didn't waste any time breaking clear of them as soon as you got clear on that opening lap. When we got to that final stadium section, that horseshoe section of the circuit, mate, it was clear that you had the race run and won, provided that you could get through the last couple of corners without so much as a slip up. In the end, the boys were left to duke it out for second. It must be nice to have 3 race wins in the last 4 starts and 2 round wins on the trot, mate.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about last round. Yeah, how good's that? No, it is good. Obviously, like street circuits, I've usually gone well around here. But no, that first race, that was pretty lucky, because obviously John, he had an issue, and then that sort of all balked him up. I think I had about 8 tenths on him at that stage, but then once that happened, it pulled away. That race then, though, I was a little bit lucky at the start. I picked off a couple early. But yeah, obviously once after all the pit stops, I knew I had to push hard, and I couldn't make mistakes. So I was sort of pushing that, 95%, hoping that the other boys were pushing 100% and touching walls and fighting each other. But obviously when I come back out behind Benny, impossible to pass. The lap before, I knew I couldn't get it done. So I sort of said to him, because we were in a Discord together, I was like, nah, you go. I'm not getting you this lap. And then Braden sent it from behind. I was like, oh, no, this might have not worked out well for me. But, just didn't want to take out any of the championship leaders. And, that last lap, that was good from all parts, because that could have ended in tears real bad, and I could have taken out everybody.
Could have, absolutely. Trav Azzopardi was bracing himself in race control, knowing that if so much as one car got out of shape in all of what was unfolding on the racetrack, we could have had a monster shunt and pile up. It didn't eventuate, of course, which is very good news for all and sundry. Trav had enough work to see him through the night in race control on the 86s with some of the other incidents that occurred. Doesn't get any easier, mate. Next week, Mount Panorama, 2 invert races. An invert top 8 for race 2, an invert top 12 for race 3. 3 rolls of the dice, 3 bites at the cherry. How do you feel about continuing your winning run at the home of Australian Motorsport?
Feel fairly confident about qualifying. In terms of racing, who knows? That is one hell of a draft track, and especially in the 86s, they were racing there earlier in the official season. So, if you're within 1.7 seconds behind of anyone, basically, you've got drafts. So, down Conrod and Mountain Straight, it's pretty hard to break drafts unless someone makes a massive mistake over the top. So, or they start battling too hard down the bottom, and you can sort of get that little bit of break. So, it's going to be a little bit like last week, I'd say, where the draft comes into it. But who knows? If it's racing like tonight, I think we can expect some fair race, and everyone's going to be pretty smart about it. So, looking forward to it.
Would you expect a few extra contenders maybe rocking and rolling onto the grid because of the location?
100%. I was actually surprised how little people showed up tonight. So, I don't understand why, because obviously street circuits are mad fun. Anytime a street circuit, I was saying that to Benny tonight, anytime a street circuit comes out, you just buy it. Like, that's law, basically. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's the same with Bathurst. I think everyone has it because of how iconic it is. So, yeah, I think there's going to be some bloody big numbers next week.
I hope you're right. We're looking forward to it. Mate, I've got to rock and roll here because we've got about 18 minutes before the Supercars are lining up for Heat 1. And I need to have a chat to Lockie, Braden and Benny. Before I do, the floor is yours to thank whoever you'd like.
I'd like to thank my dad for coming, Mum for having me. That's about it.
Yes. Actually, funnily enough, it's funny you should say that. I had there's a when we go and play trivia at Club Parkview in Goodna on a Tuesday night. There's a couple that were expecting little Bub's entered the world, happy, healthy, safe, all that sort of stuff. All's good and well. The first thing they do before they even take Bub home is bring Bub to trivia, and the dad's come over to have a chat to us at the end of the night. And I said, "Oh, congratulations, mate, by the way." And the mum's looked at me and she said, "Why? He didn't carry it." He did. I said, and I basically I couldn't think of the right wording at the time, but I basically put it on. Well, mate, if the swimmers weren't able to do their job, and we know that sometimes those swimmers don't float, they sink, right? If the swimmers weren't fertile, you wouldn't have had any hard work to do. So actually, he does deserve some of the credit. So, yes, anyway, enough said about that. Hey, congratulations, mate. Very nicely done.
I would also like to thank you guys as well. Thanks to you guys in the commentary team. I obviously watched back the broadcast. You're doing an awesome job. Obviously, GSRC for putting it all on as well. I didn't thank them last time. I felt bad after everyone went first. So, obviously, we can't do this without you guys, and you guys do it for the absolute love of it, and that's it. So, you get not enough credit. So, thank you guys.
And conversely, the commentary team and the broadcast crew, we can't do it without you guys turning up to put on the show. So it goes hand in hand. We appreciate it, mate. Well done.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing Mitch on the grid next Wednesday night, as we do Lockie Purvis, Braden Sagasa, and also Benny Snell. Geez, Benny. Oh, my goodness. This championship's well and truly alive, but you did what you needed to do tonight. You kept Braden at bay with a little bit of help from the presence of Mitch McLeod, obviously. Terrific racing, mate. Kept your nose clean, stayed out of trouble. Not able to snag a W, but mighty close. And the racing that we've seen so far this season, top shelf. We cannot wait to see how it concludes next week. And you're right there when the whips are cracking.
Yeah, that's it. I'm actually pretty bloody stoked to get the result I got tonight, because I just didn't have the pace. And, if it wasn't Braden, I'm losing too. Now it's Mitch. So thanks, Mitch, for coming and joining in and having someone else beat me. But it was fantastic racing tonight. I just didn't quite have the pace. Stuffed me quali, had to start a fair way back. And then I was just watching John and Braden fight. It was great to watch. And then John got that 5-second penalty. I was like, well, there's no point trying to risk the race trying to pass him, because I'm just going to get it afterwards anyway. So that was race one, pretty much just sitting and watching the show. And then race two, got a brilliant start and snagged a couple people before it all settled in. And then again, just hung on to the draft of the guys in front. It was good having Adam Hayne, even though he had a rough race one. He was leading the pack for race two, so he was setting a really good pace. And I was just sitting in the draft, trying to conserve a little bit of fuel, obviously, because I knew you can't pass around here. So if I could get a jump in the pits, which I did, it was going to be happy days. And then Mitch pulled a fast one on me on the last lap. It was awesome racing, and we gave each other just enough room to get through. And then Braden had a crack at it as well. And I was like, nah, you're not coming through, mate. But fantastic racing tonight.
We're not having a bar of that. I got that vibe from you very much there on the final lap, mate. Defence mode engaged and activated very nicely. But talk to me about this, because you highlighted the penalty for John. You inherited the position, etc., etc. We know how that rock and rolls, right? Had he not had a 5-second invoice hovering over his head, how differently would you have played the game there?
Oh, I definitely would have had a sniff for sure. I knew that if I fought with John, we'd lose the gap to Braden, like what happened with Mitch just running away. So I knew third would probably be the best I could get because John is a very elbows out racer and he would definitely not lie down without a fight. So I knew third was going to be the best I could get, but as soon as I saw the invoice, or as soon as I saw the crash originally, I was like, yeah, that's going to be at least a 5 second for John. So just settled back and relaxed for the rest of that race.
It's clear that it's going to come down to next week. Brayton's very well aware of the fact that you are the potential thorn in his side that stands in the way here. You do go in as the underdog. I mean, yep, you guys have duked it out all season long. How much do you look forward to the challenge that awaits next week? How much do you look at the contenders that are race-only contenders around you as potential threats or thorns in the side between you and potentially jagging this at the death?
To be honest, I'm just going to go out and have some fun. Bathurst is a ripper track to race around, so I'm just going to enjoy a couple of reverse grids. Hopefully, have a little bit of battle pack action at the front, which is definitely going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if you see us 3 wide through the chase at some point. I reckon it's going to be absolutely epic next week.
Yeah, I'm bracing for the big one there as well next week. It's going to be fantastic. And also an extra race thrown in for good measure as well, mate. So 3 bites at the cherry, more points on the table. This game is well and truly not over.
Yeah, it's not over. I think I needed to probably pull some points out of Braden this race, this round, if I wanted to have a real solid crack at it. I think if Braden keeps his nose clean next week, he'll pretty much have it. But of course, we're just going to go out, we're going to have some fun, and just see where the cards fall.
Okay, so let's have a look at this here, right? Going into next week, Benny's got 90 sitting up there in the drop rounds, which is 36 more than Braden. So that would overturn the deficit of 32. You did take 1 point out of his buffer tonight, Snelly. If you two were to have a monumental disaster next week and circumstances prevent you from turning up, bang, you're the champion. But that's not how we envisage this playing out, and that's not how you'd want to win a title. But it's interesting that the drop rounds at the moment, if they weren't a factor, you'd be in front by only 4 points. That's how fine a line we're talking. The Motor City, Detroit, interesting too, because obviously strategy came into play there. 2 holeless bolus out and out sprint races next week where you're going to have to not rely on strategy, mate. And also one of those contains an invert top 8, an invert top 12. You guys are going to have to work harder than usual next Wednesday.
Yeah, looking forward to the inverts. As long as the big pile up through the cutting is behind us and not in front of us, that's the main thing. But it's going to be interesting. The first 2 races are obviously just going to be out and out pace and racecraft, and the second race we might have a little bit of strategy thrown in, or sorry, the third race. But it's going to be interesting either way, and I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed, a third and a second tonight, a second and a third. For Braden, of course, the beneficiary of Johnny Merritt's 5-second and 5-position penalty was Benny Snell in all of that. And you keep that podium run alive, mate. I mean, I'm looking at the run sheet here. 5th at Road America in Heat 1 last week. That was after some of your best drift work through turn 13. And you have not finished outside the top 5 all season either. I'm just looking at what might be the difference here, what might be killing you along the way. Because Braden's got a DNF next to his name and you don't. Round 1 remains one of your drop rounds for the pair of you with 0 apiece. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. 2nd, 5th, 4th, 2nd, 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 5th, 2nd, 1st, 5th, 1st, 3rd, 2nd for Snelly. And then 5th, 1st, 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 DNF, 2nd, 2nd, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd for Sagassa. So there's obviously something there in the bonus points that's working for Braden and not you at the moment, Snelly.
Yeah, I think Braden probably snagged a fair few of those fastest lap awards as well. He's definitely got some wicked pace. So, a couple of extra bonus points here and there. And, of course, the consistency's great until the drop rounds come in and then you take a bigger hit. So, it's going to be fun next week. And, I'm keen to see where this championship ends.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Quickly, before I get to the 1-9 boys, who would you like to thank?
As always, shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's always good to go back and have a watch. Thanks to the club for putting the racing on. Hopefully we get some more 86 or MX5s or something like that next season, because they're always a riot. Thanks for the missus for letting me come jump in my dungeon, and shout out to the Laundry Source boys on the Discord for always keeping us entertained during the race.
Here. To all of the above, especially your comments about the 86s or the MX5s, one or the other, doesn't matter. They bring the action all the time. And I'm also still lobbying for Formula V to get another season as well, Snelly. So looking forward to that. See you tomorrow night for the Porsches?
I've got drift cars to fix because I'm going drifting this weekend. So I was supposed to do it last weekend, but we did a quick getaway to Mildura for the long weekend. So I'm going to be elbows deep in grease fixing the car so I can get out there on Saturday.
All right, well, good luck on Saturday. Hopefully see you back in the Porsche at some point, but we'll see you here next Wednesday night for the Toyota finale, mate. Go on.
Cheers, mate.
And just a reminder, for those of you tuning in Western Australia and Queensland, what Snelly said there about a long weekend applied to the rest of the country, because it was the King of the Commonwealth's birthday holiday observance weekend. Whereas you can take that up with your own respective state governments as to why they do what the hell they please with that holiday by plopping it in September and October when the rest of the country observes it in unison. Fair income. What a laughing stock. Braden Sagasa and Lockie Purvis, last but certainly not least, let's bring you two into the conversation. Now, I'm going to start very quickly with you, Lockie, because, again, we've got some time constraints here, mate, and Adam Lavis will take us out of the 86 server and transition us over into the Supercar server as I talk to you blokes here. Let's sum it up, mate. Challenging night, but you were able to escape with 4th and 6th of the 2 races. You're 100 points behind Snelly in the points race. I guess your focus now is fending off Brett Barker and Jeff Adams and Richard King, those guys that are within striking distance of you in that battle for the final spot on the points podium for this term.
Yeah, that's the plan. Ben and Braden fully gone, so we gotta hold this position. Tonight was not too great, but I had no pace. We'll see what happens next week.
It's interesting. The boys spoke about strategy and a few other things there. You played it a little bit differently. Was that because of circumstance or intention to try and find some clear air, to try and find something to try and bolster your push forward?
No. I slammed the wall. I got a 45-degree wheel
that'll do
at the end there. So I had to pit early, and we made it on fuel. So, yeah.
And lucky to do so, based on the fact that a couple of drivers did cough and splutter on the final lap there, as we saw. What was it about the streets of Detroit that you found most challenging from a setup and a pace standpoint?
I don't know. I usually do pretty good at the street circuits. It's just, I don't know, one too many beers tonight, I guess.
No. What sort?
Great Northern, you know it.
Oh, okay. So I was going to say, I was wondering if you were sampling some of Mitchie's product, the old Carlton Draft, but no, obviously not. The Great Northern, very nicely done. Hey, very quickly before I go to your teammates, obviously Formula V, Formula 3 still to come. How do you go about preparing for Mount Panorama next week, and what's the plan of attack with the 3 races there, knowing that 3rd is still a live chance for you?
Yeah, look, F3 is just a fun thing at the moment. 86s, I gotta push, and then Formula V, I think we're still in the fight, so we're gonna send it tomorrow night.
All right, well, hopefully you'll send it and secure that podium finish in the championship next week in the 86s as well, mate. Well done again. Good to hear from you very briefly. Sorry about that, but thanks for dropping on by for a chat with us. We appreciate it, and go well. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Cheers, mate.
And Braden, to finish with you, in the thick of the action from first until last, I didn't get to ask Snelly about this, and I didn't get to ask Mitchie about this, but by gee, he bolted in the opening race, didn't he? You got caught squabbling, and you just made life incredibly easy for him whilst you went about trying to fend off John Merritt, Ben Snell, etc., etc. At what point did you give up on trying to go with Mitchie and just focus on defence mode?
Probably from the start. I knew Mitchie wasn't in the championship contention. I just knew I had to try and stay in front of Ben Snell, or try and stay as close to Ben Snell as possible, try and minimise the points deficit he could gain. And yeah, I think I accomplished that tonight, and I just hope I can do the same next week.
And on that subject, it works well for Benny, right? That John's picked up that 5-second penalty in the opening heat, but that works against you, doesn't it? It's a quid pro quo, sort of 6 of one, half dozen of the other situation that John Merritt's picked up that penalty, and at which point he's rubbed out of contention. But from your standpoint, how do you feel about having those guys, knowing that they can influence or impact or affect the results on any given night, take points away from you and Snelly potentially? It's part and parcel of racing, but it plays a big part in the narrative at this time of the championship.
Oh, big time. And, you know, you see it in real racing all the time. It's just trying to, you know, weave your way through, try and avoid as much drama as possible, and just try and snag as many points as possible. I don't know what the calculations is for next week. I'm sure, you know, you'll have the Zaculator out pretty shortly, trying to sort that one out. But I think me just staying in front of Ben is my goal next week.
Well, it is interesting reading, isn't it? Adam Lavis might be able to give us a better idea on that than I can, mate, because he's all over this matrix like a cheap suit. And Adam, it's interesting because the boys have got a 0 sitting there. They've got 1 drop round sitting there, assuming that next week being a 3-race round and that they keep it on the black stuff and they herald more points than, in Braden's case, 54 and in Ben's case, 90. Next week pretty much decides it, and Ben's going to have to do a lot of clawing back of ground in order to beat Braden. So he'd probably prefer to be Braden going into next week.
Yep, Braden's definitely got the leg up. But yeah, it's still big points, especially in that third race. So yeah, it's just a matter of making sure to maintain that, because it is still achievable, but he has the advantage going in. So he's just got to do it in tonight, know who he's fighting, keep himself in the right spot at the right time, and he'll walk away the chocolates.
Now, apologies here, folks, because we're
Greg's
6 laps into the super. Greg's maths are still cocked up. Yeah, we'll get to the supercar race in just a moment. I want to finish talking to Braden Sagassa, and we'll just call this one later. I don't know. Greg's still mucked it up. It was supposed to be 8:45, Greg, not 8:40. Jesus. Okay, so we'll get to that a little bit later on. As you can see, there's an enormous field out there for the supercars tonight. 29 in fact. Bondi's already parked up and done. I've got a Snapchat message there from him which might explain a bit of that. James Scott from Tyson, Broadsound, Blacklock and Will Buchanan, the top 4. It is a super sprint round. There is, of course, an invert top 8 for race 2 and top 12 for race 3, and we'll bring you those in their entirety. We are on lap 5 of a 15-minute race here. Clock will probably allow us to get 10 laps in, so we're at half race distance here, and we'll just let that one play out on the screen. If there's anything major to note, we'll drop back in. But let me finish with Braden for the moment. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you go into next week knowing that if you beat Benny, it's yours. But I'm sure that doesn't necessarily allow you to rest comfortably or on your laurels, mate. How are the nerves going into that, knowing that it's Mount Panorama, knowing that there's 2 inverts, knowing that so many variables could impact the state of play throughout the course of those 3 races?
I think we'll just have to play it by ear at this point. Yeah, you can't predict Bathurst. You know, you watch all these Bathurst 1000s. You try and predict who's going to win the race, and you know it's never usually the person that you predict. It's it's concrete walls everywhere, and it's just it's pretty much a lottery ticket around there. Because if you make one mistake, there's not much runoff.
No, there certainly is not at all. Qualifying, Mitch McLeod and Benny Snell have already placed big importance, big priority on that. How's your one lap pace around there, do you feel?
Yeah, touch and go. I think, you know, I can set some pace, some good laps down, but it's just trying to stay with the draft. And just not cause any trouble.
4 round, just a shout out to James Scott. Exactly. 3.52 seconds to the good already. I'll get back to Snedden's comments in just a moment. James Scott's already out, well clear of the chasing pack. Good to see such a strong presence of Logitech Orbit drop their Motorsport entries out there as well. Will Buchanan, who had a magnificent drive last week, I understand, in the Supercar Pro Series round in Mexico City as well, sitting there in fourth, keeping the blokes honest at the moment. Ratu and Capel in behind them, and that was Jackson Sue falling off the road and keeping it out of trouble, keeping it out of the wall at least. Tomorrow night in the V's, mate, Willow Springs, looking forward to seeing you there. Then, of course, the Formula 3 finale where you try to wrap up second. You'd hate to lose it next week and be the bridesmaid twice, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would hate to. I don't really want to think about that. It's gonna be, it's gonna be very tight in the Formula V's. I think it's only 8 points that separate the top 3, and then you have Lockie, who's P4. I think about 45 points behind. So anything can really happen for the Formula V's.
All right, very nicely done. And very nicely played tonight, mate. Very good to have you here having a chat with us, and very good to see you put on a phenomenally entertaining show out there with 6 of your best mates towards the end of that second race. That was good stuff. Kept the nose clean, stayed out of trouble, banked the points, only lost 1 point of your 33 advantage. It's now 32 in the box seat for next week. But as Adam's already said, with extra points on the table next week, the extra race and the feature, and obviously the fact that third race is longer, and we've got 2 shorter, sharper, snappier sprint races. So much to play for next week. How many points are on the line, Adam? Is it 150 or 200 next week?
200. It's 50, 100.
200. But yeah, so a lot to play for next week. So it's interesting, isn't it, right? Our sprint rounds this season have been 15 and 25, Braden, and they've been worth 50 and 50 and been worth 100, and that's all good and well. Next week, we have 10, 15 and 25. So you've got your Formula 3 sprint round race offerings along with your feature sprint round offering in the 86s in terms of time lengths. And we've got an extra 50 points on the table. So much onus will be placed on that final race result. That could be the one that makes or breaks the lot. Who would you like to thank, buddy, before we go and focus on the supercars?
Just the Rd-9 guys for coming out. You know, Lockie. We always have Aiden watching in the background for these other entree races. Always the missus. She's always in the room watching, rooting me on, and of course you guys. You know, I think everyone else said it, but you guys put on an amazing broadcast every single Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you know I always love to watch them back.
All right, very nicely done, mate. Terrific to catch up with you, and we hope all goes well on Monday and Wednesday night next week. And of course, it'll be interesting to see what you can do on a Thursday night at Willow Springs tomorrow night, and then the Bend next week as you go to look to secure maybe 1, maybe 2 championships this season, but at least 3 Guernseys, 3 podium berths, I should say, in all of that. You've already got 1 wrapped up. We know you're going to be on the podium either second or third in the 3s. We don't know which position yet. The other 2 are still a work in progress. You can't be displaced off the podium, I don't think, in the Toyotas. The V's is the unknown entity. We're looking forward to it next week, though. Hopefully you go well, and we look forward to chatting to you after tomorrow night's V action, mate. Go well.
Thank you, Zach.
Dan Yeaman, hopefully next week I won't be stuck in the kitchen and having to just watch. Yes, exactly. Hello, Dan Yeaman. Hopefully we'll actually see the start of the race this time next week. For those of you wondering what happened, if you're just joining us, you're a bit late to the broadcast. Greg Heaney, by his own admission, owned up to the fact that he's made a mistake with the server settings and human error, and then made the same human error a second time, and then when he's gone in and set it up a third time, he got it all right, except for the fact that the race started 5 or 6 minutes earlier than it's scheduled 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is the time that we are most synonymous with it getting underway each and every week. And as a result of that, you missed the first 7.5 minutes of the race. So we apologise for that. We are now on the penultimate lap. We are picking up Terry Marsh in 10th spot, which is important because this is for the invert pole position. He's chasing Blake Fitz in 9th, and Alex Tzoukas is in 11th. So one of these guys is going to miss out on the invert. One of them's going to, two of them are going to make it through. But yes, we were somewhat scheduled as advertised to get underway. That was what I was looking for. Christ almighty, I'm just drawing blanks left, right, and centre at the moment. 8:45 was the scheduled start time, the advertised starting time. And unfortunately, we've got the gun there. I just hope, Adam, in all of that no one that was hoping to sign up as a result of that missed the boat for qualifying, remembering that for a sprint round and a super sprint round at that, you have to be in the server before quali starts.
It would have been, I think they probably might have got in if they were quick. But there's maybe some people who are just taking their time may have missed out. I think most of them just, see both the subpar boys have made it across, for example. So I assume, some of the people would have had a go. Like Adam Haney's also in here. So there's a few that have made it across.
I'm just asking for a please explain. Hello, Pauline Hanson. From C Bond, as you can see down the bottom of your screen there, it says out, gone, zip, nada. I'm just wondering what the hell's going on there for the boy from Gundy Guy. Meanwhile, have a look at this bloke. Back in business, back on the platforms of the GSRC, and back doing what he does best. He's done it in a GT3 this season as well. Now he's going to do it in a supercar once more. And James Scott won't be getting the win taken away from him this time because he didn't serve a pit lane, not a drive-through, but a compulsory pit lane stop. There are no CPS requirements in races 1 and 2 tonight. So it's all smooth sailing for James Scott to victory lane and the checkered flag in race 1 of round 9 of the Trophi.AI Supercar Series in the elite split on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Second to Blacklock, third to Broad, then Buchanan, Rado and Capel all coming through there in view. Sammy Cullen is holding off Chase Douglas at the moment in the battle for 7th. And then Terry Marsh has come through in 9th. Blake Fitz in 10th. Alex Tzoukas misses out on the invert in 11th. And in behind, Ryan Barber at the moment. Mitchie Wood's going to take out the opening race honours in the Dev split here. He does so ahead of Ross Amor and Nathan Michael. And that is all she wrote as far as this opening race was concerned. Not that we actually saw much of it or were engaged in a lot of it either. But hopefully you enjoyed what we were able to bring you of it. And hopefully at the end of the night, Adam Lavis might be able to replay the first 6 or so minutes of that race for the benefit of those. No, you can't?
Well, I wasn't in the server, so I've got no replay.
Yeah, fair. So someone would have to, provide you with a file. Not going to happen. Fat, you know what, chance. Dan Snedden saying that James Scott loves a reverse grid. It's an invert top 8 for race 2 and invert top 12 for race 3. This is the second super sprint of the campaign. The first was on the streets of Chicago. And let's just have a quick look at the championship points coming into this round. We do have quality results for you as well to show you that James Scott topped the elite qualifying by 0.1 of a second, 1:31.386 over Blacklock, Broad, Buchanan and Capel. And in behind them, Ross Amor, Mitch Wood and Jackson Sufong were the best placed of the Dev split competitors. Championship points coming into this round. Blake Fitz on top, 634. Luke Page, 604. Bondi, 578. And I've got explanation from him coming through now. It's a mechanical or technical issue for Bondi. That's rubbed him out of contention here tonight. And as a result of that, he's got to rely on that 75-point drop round that he's got there from back in round number 6 at this point in time. That's not going to do him any favours whatsoever in staying in contention with the top 2 or contact with the top 2. Chase Douglas 575 and Alex Tzoukas 574. The open split, or the Dev split I should say, Ross Amor 639, Greg Heaney 576, 565 for Jake Kalman. Jeff Adams 559 and Nathan Michael 469 make up the top 5 at the moment. There's the grid for Heat 2. We're going to run out of time to run through that because we're getting ready to rock and roll here on the streets of Belle, Detroit, Michigan. Set to go now. Green and away. Chase Douglas leads us to green. It's an invert top 8, 3 wide further back. And they're locking doors already. Hold your breath and brace for carnage. It is. Bang, God. On the drop there in the wall. This could be huge. Bang, yep. That is an enormous crash. They're going to do well to avoid a lot of it, but we might need the safety car to clean this one up. Look at that. Enormous carnage. Out of turn 2 and we're under turn 3 on the streets of Detroit. Mitch Wood on the tow rope. There'll be a few others with the mechanical meat next to their name, I'm sure. Jace Douglas has broken clear of all the trouble. Two Thorn and Blacklock have mechanical meatballs, so too Hayden Watson. Mitch Wood's also on the tow rope. Monumental carnage here on the opening lap, and now Douglas under pressure from Lachlan Capel. Will Buchanan up 2 spots already, so too Tyson Broad. James Scott up 3, Blake Fitz up 4. Uh-oh, trouble gone. They clean it up, but I tell you what, race control probably won't be too happy with how forceful Lockie Capel was on the inside of Douglas. And here comes Tyson Broad as well. Capel, Buchanan, Broad, all beneficiaries of that. And Chase Douglas slides back into 4th. And look who's coming already. James Scott in 5th. We stay green. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Given the carnage, we stay green. The field very spread out already. And pit lane's about to be a hull of activity. Jordan Pianazola started from pit lane. That might have ended up being a blessing in disguise. Scott to the inside of Douglas. And James Scott to 4th already. In comes Andy Barber to grab a fast repair. So too Ryan Barber. So both the Barbers caught up in that. We'll show you some replays in a moment, folks. Race 2 underway with a big bang. And now look at the run that Buchanan's got. Buchanan on the inside of Capel. Buchanan will have his nose in front into the braking zone at 9. Side by side, Capel trying to close the door and goes deep under brakes to keep Buchanan at bay. Buchanan bailed out of it. Now he gives him a love tap just for good measure. Magnificent stuff. Capel, Buchanan, Broad, Scott, Douglas, Fitz, Marsh, Hayne, Cullen, Tzikis. And Capel cannot afford to cough or splutter at the moment. Because Buchanan's breathing down his neck. Broad and Scott are there as well. You got 2 AITX Revolution E-Racing entries right up against the Logitech Orbit Drop Bear stable. .1:32.721, Terry Marsh, fastest lap of the race. Out comes Mitch Wood. Already a couple of laps down, of course. Oh! Scott trying to get down on the inside of Broad and it wasn't able to eventuate. Then Broad slams the door shut. You can just see him moving across the track to cover off the race 1 winner. This field very spaced out now as a result of the carnage on the opening lap. Adam Hayne, the beneficiary of a lot of that, up 13 spots already. Nathan Michael up 4. Luke Page up 5. Cooper Barnes up 11. Good to see Coop out there. Instead of in an 86, we see him in a supercar. Very nice.
David, he's only...
Oh. Yeah, Dave Oliver all on his lonesome, and all the garbage was happening ahead. That was Blacklock, unfortunately. Oh, look at him. And Douglas, it was Tzikis. It was Tzikis recovering from the spin. To stay in position number 10 there. Radu now showing in 11th. Whoa, jeez. Have a look at it from Blacklock's perspective. They just went everywhere. Now, did Blacklock get some assistance from a teammate here? No. but it was a teammate ahead of him that, yeah. Oh boy. That won't be a pleasant debrief for anybody in the Logitech Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports table. From Andy Barber's standpoint, he got turned around whilst trying to take evasive action. You could just look and see the shunt from behind. Mitch Wood had nowhere to go. The doors are about to close firmly there. Oh, both the Barbers into one another in separate incidents. Race control, no doubt, look at all of that in great detail. I feel sorry for Trav. Long night ahead for him. Hello to Brooksy. No, this is good stuff. It's not this battle, it's got me speechless. It's the lap 1 incident, the fact that we didn't have the race neutralised. I'm surprised that the track was able to clear as quickly as it did. Papal and Buchanan, how good's this? Is this the moment for Will Buchanan? Sitting down in 14th in the championship at the moment, but the problem's been that he hasn't been able to attend all the rounds. He's only been here twice so far this campaign. 2nd, 9th, 1st, 3rd and 3rd. So he's a regular, consistent performer. Oh no! We've spoken too soon. It's what both the Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport cars out. Buchanan and Scott lead in Detroit. But there's an asterisk sitting next to that. He said it all right, Daniel Snedden. Shocking. Down the inside, did he get down? Oh, I'm not sure. Oh no. Oh no. We might have just put the mocker on it all. And poor old Tyson Broad, the unlucky one here. Oh. Bounce off the wall for Lockie Capel. Broad had nowhere to go. Well, we did write about it. Dear, oh dear. Now Greg Heaney on the charge through. He's in 17th at the moment, up 5 spots. Next target is JD Dent. Nathan Michael leads from Ross Amor and JD Dent in this dev split at the moment. Buchanan and Scott 1 and 2 for AITX. And if I'm James Scott, I'm doing exactly what Benny Snell did earlier in relation to John Merritt, just sitting there. I'm waiting to see what race control have to say about that incident, and I'm not moving. I'm just happy to follow my teammate around and maybe inherit the win at his demise. So Scott on track for an early double here in a 20-minute second race for you. And then a 35-minute feature tonight, including the compulsory splash and dash, the transit down the lane. Gotta love a reverse grid. An invert top 8 on this occasion, and an invert top 12 shortly after that. Through we go. 8 and 3/4 minutes gone for you. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and a big Wednesday night, Thursday night motorsport coming up tomorrow night for you. Also, a full night of sprint racing, 3 from the Vs, 2 from the Porsches. We're off to St. Petersburg for the Porsches, to Willow Springs for the Vs. So a full night of American racing. A full night of American front and centre action for you. An all-American doubleheader tomorrow night. Oh no, there we go. Dent's off the road. Hayden Watson gets a 15-second penalty and 4 safety licence penalty points for lack of caution under yellow flag, causing the incident with 5 cars further back in the pack on lap 1. So that's the first of the penalties to be handed down, and there'll be a few more, I reckon, where that came from. Now, with regards to what's going on here, that'll be our third stop on a street circuit this week with the Porsches from St. Pete. Let's have a look at this. Hayden Watson. Yep. Yeah, that was never going to run well for him, unfortunately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Just gave it some chandle, and didn't give. And I'll let you finish the rest of that sentence. And has been invoiced accordingly. Jason Douglas fourth at the moment. This has been a nice drive, actually. Holding off Blake Fitz at the moment, but not for much longer. Fitz gets the run. This is the run down towards the horseshoe section of the circuit. Down the inside, here comes Fitz. A battle for the championship between him and Luke Page. Swinging in every which way direction at the moment, because Fitz is now sitting up there in position number 4, whilst Page is down in 13th. Only finished 19th in the opening race. A shocker of an opener for him there. So this is firmly Fitz's championship for the taking at the moment. And a move like that will do him no harm whatsoever. Buchanan, Scott, Capel, Fitz, Douglas and Marsh the top 6 at the moment. Adam Hayne there in position number 7. Ratu, Cullen, Tzikis, Michael and Amor, the top 12. Page in for 13th. Barnes is 14th and Heaney rounds out the top 15 at the moment. Michael, Amor and Heaney, the 3 best placed dev split competitors right now. Terry Marsh in 6th spot. Chases Jason Douglas. Okay, so lap 8. We're going to run this very tight, I think, Adam. We're not in the 1 minute 30s evenly, so I think we're only going to get 13 here because the clock stops at 20. It's not a 21-minute race like what we get with GT3 in their sprint round. It's a 20-minute down the line affair, so 20 minutes, and given where the pace is at the moment, I think only 13 laps in this second heat. Tyson Broad, fastest up the race on the comeback trail, actually down in position number 18. We're following Terry Marsh. Scott leads, he's overtaken Buchanan. James Scott has gone to the front despite the asterisk next to Will Buchanan's name at the moment. Let's have a look at that move, and here it was. Oh, Scott just got the run. I think Willie just courteously waved him on through. Whoa! Jason Douglas slides in and smacks the concrete. That's not exactly how you do it. Energy levels aren't as high as they would normally be on a on a Wednesday night, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm eyeing off, as Dave Oliver has his second spin of the race, I'm eyeing off another cup of coffee partway through this triple header. Australian Swimming Championships continuing for you on Channel 9 as well, if you want to go and watch that, whilst also watching us. Remember, next Wednesday night, 3 screens, volume on us. One eye on the Women's Cricket World Cup, the T20 equivalent, and of course one eye on that game of football in Melbourne that we already somewhat know the result of. James Scott, Will Buchanan, Lachlan Capel, Blake Fitz, Jason Douglas, Terry Marsh, and Bradley Ratu and Sam Cullen, the top 8. Yeah, that's a fair call, actually. Dave is slipping and sliding all over the place, isn't he? Ernie Toff off track down at turn 3. Ross Amor, leader of the dev split. Actually, no, sorry, second in the dev split at the moment. He's fallen behind Nathan Michael. We are riding with Jason Douglas. Yes. Important to know. Hayden Watson in pit lane at the moment, has been since the start of the race. The rest of the field has managed to get back out on the black stuff, but they remain more than a lap down. Watching Blacklock charge through from 26th position is going to be fun in the third race, which is only 5 minutes away from getting underway. We're on lap 10 at the moment. 3 to go at the line for James Scott. Douglas chases Fitz. The championship elect, or champion elect, up against the defending champion. Back to Amor, and he's of course chasing the 10th placed Nathan Michael and trying to fend off Luke Page at the same time. Surrounded by Whiskey Business Racing competitors right now is Ross Amor. And it's interesting and ironic that that is the case, because when you look at who he's up against in the championship, it's Whiskey Business Racing. He's 63 points up the road from Greg Heaney at the moment, 639 place 576. So there's an outside chance that he could technically, mathematically put it beyond any sort of reasonable doubt tonight with a drop round up his sleeve. Ross Amor.
But also currently these guys are the invert front row, but also just behind them. New member to the club, Cooper Barnes, he may be able to sneak if something happens to somebody. He's in that position to steal an invert ollie if something happens to someone ahead of him. Oh, he's just gone off.
There you go.
But
Just put the kiss of death.
He saved it. He said a four-wheel drift. He saved it though.
The old kiss of death potentially looming from Adam Lavis. I love the livery. Must be a Scotty Mac fan going back a few years. Whoa, look at this. Bradley Ratu on the comeback trail. Jason Douglas is being passed by Ratu. Now he's going to try and hold his own here, but he's up against it because he's got 2 Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport stable entries ganging up on him. Up on the outside there. There's Bradley Ratu. Well, actually, no. Hang on. Is one of those Sam Cullen a lap down? Is that what I'm picking up? Not Sam Cullen, Sam Blacklock, I should say. Is Blacklock a lap down, duking it out with those guys on track? Yes, he is. And there is Douglas into the wall as well. So he's had a run in with the. He's made a mistake. He's had an incident on the way around as well. So it's all going pear-shaped for Douglas right here and now in 7th. And there are an enormous number of drivers lining up to try and be beneficiaries of that misfortune for Douglas. Penultimate lap for James Scott, Will Buchanan, Lachlan Cable, Blake Fitz, Terry Marsh, Bradley Ratu, Jace Douglas and Sam Cullen. Can we just get Sam Blacklock on the screen there, please, Adam, just to confirm that that was him? With Bradley Ratu, his teammate. Ratu's just in front, yep, and then just behind them. We did have that right, yeah. Lachlan Capel and car 1, James Scott on lap 1. Jason Douglas, I should say, on lap 1. Are going to be, that's going to be investigated. So, yeah, unfortunately, Ratu and Douglas and Blacklock have all had that little moment there through the infield. Douglas, nothing he could do about it. Yes, he tried to hold his own against the Orbit Drop Bear stable, but they were already in a far superior position in terms of the state of their car on that occasion. So I don't think much will come of that. Yes, there was a little bit of hip and shoulder and argy-bargy, but Douglas is trying to get to the line with a very unwell vehicle at this particular point in time. Meanwhile, there's Cooper Barnes. Very nice to see him out there on the racetrack in 11th. Adam Hayne right there with him in 12th. These two now will look to share the invert front row for Heat 3. You'd back Haney here, actually. Haynes sporting damage at the moment, but as we saw on the 86s, once he can get clear air, he's right as rain. Checkered flag in the air this time round, and James Scott is going to make it 2 from 2 on the streets of Detroit. No further action for James Scott, Blake Fitz on lap 4, but James Scott... sorry, I keep saying James Scott because he's position number 1. Car 1, series champion, Jason Douglas. No further action for him on the incident with Blake Fitz. My apologies there. Sing Kei-san. Very good. Actually, wasn't it the horses that Scotty McLaughlin was singing in that car? James Scott, the winner from Will Buchanan. James Scott doubles up. Lachlan Cable in for third. Blake Fitz, Terry Marsh, Bradley Ratchie, Jason Douglas. Then Tazikis, Michael, Amor, Page, Cullen, Barnes, Hayne. And they came together right at the end there, Barnes and Hayne. That was a big shunt. Haynes ended up in the wall on the cool-down lap because they locked horns crossing the start-finish line. This was Sam Blacklock's viewpoint yet again, and the Orbit Drop Bear boys just didn't have any luck at all at the start of that second heat. How lucky were the two AITX boys to escape unharmed, Scott and also Buchanan, and yeah, it was just basically a game of dodgeman cars from that point. Ooh.
So yeah, it's Brad Ratu in one of the RER cars, which was the initial contact, but didn't see who the other one was.
Well, apologies if you're going to hear any noise here, ladies and gentlemen, whilst the 2-minute warm-up is underway. And that's all it is. It is a 2-minute warm-up. Adam Lavis will have the results on your screen in just a moment. I'm going to make a mid-broadcast coffee to try and pep me up a little bit more for the final here. James Scott, Will Buchanan, Lachlan Capel, Blake Fitz, Terry Marsh, Bradley Ratu, Jason Douglas and Alex Tazikis, the top 8. Nathan Michael, Ross Amor, Nathan Michael gets the dev split honours, Luke Page, Sam Cullen. And then Cooper Barnes did Barnesy get a penalty post-race? What's happened there? Because they're showing 13th and 14th now. Cooper Barnes and Adam Hayne. Didn't they come home 11th and 12th?
No, that's correct. Yeah,
13th and 14th.
Yeah, he needed someone to drop out to get the invert.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry, for some reason I had them 11th and 12th. My apologies.
Because at the end there I had the positions in parcel. So
okay, gotcha. Yeah. So that's what's confused me. That's all good. Nathan Michael, Ross Amor. So actually it'll be Sam Cullen and Luke Page sharing the front row. My apologies there, folks. Barnes, Hayne, Heaney, Broad, Adams, Toff, Dent and Pianazzola, the top 20. And Sam Cullen will launch from the front row alongside Luke Page. How good. All right. With thanks to the great people at Waste Options, Disruptive Labs, Trophi.AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and this is Wednesday Night Motorsport across Facebook and YouTube. If you want to join in the fun of the fair and get involved in what we do, race.tgsrci.com is where you need to go. And there's the complimentary merch store that accompanies the website. Just swap out race for merch. merch.tgsrci.com for all your GSRC merch and paraphernalia. Cars will be on the grid for Heat 3 in just a moment. Remember, next week these guys go around for a... Now, I hope Heaney's got the memo for next week and that the race starts at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time next Wednesday night. Because we've got the 86s going around for 3 races, so we've got a little bit of extra time in their broadcast window, and the Supercars a 60-minute affair from 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope Heaney's across that memo next week. Ready to rock and roll? The final one of the night. So Sam Cullen and Luke Page, front row. Ross Amor, Nathan Michael, second row. Alex Tazikis, Jacobs and Douglas, third row. Bradley Ratu, Terry Marsh, fourth row. Blake Fitz and Lachlan Capel from 5. From 6, it's Buchanan and Scott. From 7, it's Barnes and Hayne. From 8, Heaney and Broad. From 9, Adams and Toff. From 10, JD Denton, Jordan Pianazzola. From 11, it's where you're going to find Dave Oliver and, GR point penalty for Ryan Barber. Okay, for a comms violation. Dave Oliver and Ryan Barber from row 11. 12, Andy Barber, Jake Calman. 13, Jackson Sufon. And also Sam Blacklock. From 14, Mitch Wood and Richard King. From 15, it'll be Watson. And, of course, we don't have Bonding now. I do apologise, I didn't pass on the memo of what the hell was going on there as we get set to rock and roll here. Racing now, power down.
Sorry, because I had that slow-mo going for that replay, it was still actually playing slow-mo on the grid then, I didn't realise.
Okay, copy. Oh, 4 wide already. Hayne and Barnes in the thick of it. Down to turn 3. 148 local circuit time, 24 km/h winds, westerly direction, 25 the ambient. 44 on track, 51% humidity and partly cloudy. I'm hopefully going to be more with it at the end of this race than I am at the start of it, ladies and gentlemen. And apologies, I've just gone rapidly downhill here in the last half hour. So, yes, more reverse grid, invert top 12 this time through. And so far, clean and good. Sam Cullen gets the better of Luke Page. Douglas and Radu up 3 spots early. Seymour and Alex Tzikis have dropped 2 and 1 respectively. Fitz, Buchanan and Scott all gaining on that opening lap. Capel and Broad up 5 spots as well. Going to be interesting to see what Tyson Broad and Sammy Blacklock can do from outside the invert, tearing their way through the field. A third bite of the cherry for them. Again, I'd be interested to see what race control made. If Chase Douglas's car wasn't compromised or hamstrung in any way, shape or form, because it was evident that he'd sustained some damage along the way there. If that wasn't the case, and that gamesmanship that was going on with the Orbit Drop Bear stable was going on, I would have been interested to see what race control had made of that, considering that one of those cars was a lap down, no doubt, with a blue flag waving at it. But we'll never know now. And I reckon that's why we've not seen any action taken on that, because Douglas knew that there was a sitting duck and he was just trying to get through to the checkered flag as best as possible with oh geez, one of the ARTX entries was, one of them was in trouble. One of them was almost in trouble on the outside wall. That's Terry Marsh on the inside wall out of turn 4. And did he get some help from an Orbit Drop Bear entry? I'm not sure. Oh no, Will Buchanan in trouble. That could well be him out of contention here in this third and final race of the night. Capel and Michael Buchanan. Blackrock gets down on the inside of Barnes. And Page has been passed as well by Ratu. Cullen leads from Ratu. Page, Douglas, Amor, Fitz, Tzikis, Scott, Broad, Payne, Capel and Buchanan, the top 12 here at the moment. Wowee. What's happening? But yeah, to finish on the Jake Douglas point, he was just literally trying to limp that thing to the line in as best amount as possible to consolidate and salvage what he could, because he knew that with that damaged car he wasn't going to be at the sort of competitive level that we've come to expect from him in the recent past. That was Will Buchanan into the side of an Orbit Drop Bear entry, but he was on the outside as well, so it'll be interesting to see what race control makes of that one. And Buchanan in a little bit of strife here, but he's continued on. He's pressed on for a little bit. So clearly not enough damage sustained to warrant stopping yet, nor enough damage to warrant iRacing issuing a mechanical meatball. There is a compulsory splash and dash in this race as well, Adam, and that'll be playing on their minds as well. They have to weigh that up and they can stop, grab the fuel and get home without compromising themselves or sacrificing themselves in the process. So all those calculations will be being done by Will Buchanan at the moment. He'll be trying to work out how early he can come to pit lane to grab the fast repair and grab the top up of fuel, and then just go on a long run to checkered flag as Cullen holds sway by a second from Radu, Page, Douglas and Fitz at the moment, who has the fastest lap, 1:32.728. And we're nearly 5 minutes in to this final race of the night, the final sprint race of the season for the Supercars.
And for Will, if he does have a bit of steering damage here, it's going to be one of those things where the early starts probably going to be the better or the worse situation. But the problem is, the pack's still pretty tight at the moment. But when they start spreading out, if he pit it early, he's going to catch the snake, and that's going to hamper his progress on the race. But whether that hampering is worth less than the hampering of the current damage, that's what he's going to weigh up when he's making a decision of when to pit.
So I never got a chance to come back and cover this off either, Adam. The reason we're not seeing Bondi out there, by his own admission, the bleeping PC. So he's had a mechanical issue, which, as we know, we refer to the technical issues in the simulator as our mechanical issues in the real world, and vice versa. So, yes, he's had a tech issue. It kept freezing after every run on him, trying to fix the setup or go to the menu. So the championship hopes, he reckons, are dashed. He's probably right too. Tyson brought off the road, speaking of championship hopes being dashed. The worst bit, he says, is that it was playing up all practice, no matter what he tried. Couldn't get it to stop playing up. And now he's trying to use iRacing, and it is working again. So it's unfortunate for Bondi, that's technology. You know what that's all about. We had a broadcast that went up the proverbial one night because the iRacing universe just didn't want to play ball.
Yeah, it was the 86s last week with the fun CPU glitch that likes to do very everyday metal. But yeah, so I'm not sure if there's supposed to be some updates tonight with trying to do some more optimizations. So we'll have to wait and see if that's helped some of those situations. Maybe that's those optimizations have gone the wrong way on Bondi's setup.
He's going to have to, he might have to defrag his computer or clear the cache. The cache, I don't know. Good luck to your son. I hope it goes all right, and I hope you sort it out for tomorrow night for the Porsches. Snedden just throwing his 5 cents worth in, just drive over and turn left. The incident involving multiple cars on lap 1 is under investigation from race control. So the second split champion Terry Marsh, what up in there? Hayden's screen is blinking violently, so that helped cause the incident that he had, which is unfortunate. That's Hayden Watson, who didn't line up for this race, so we're down to 28 in this one. JD Dent showing off the road right now. Thank you, Neely. I appreciate that, yes. Well, actually, no, I'm showing the age of the computer that I had before this year, the one that I got rid of. The one that I lived through 18 months with just to get it to the checkered flag of last season so that I could save the pennies up to buy a holeless, bowless, brand new, swish bang, crash beauty, bloody, top of the range PC to do these broadcasts on. Nice flash bit of gear. And one of the things the boys said to me, because I was looking for all the different options to just get the other computer through, and it was cooked, it was rooted. But they said, why don't you defrag your computer? So what did I do? I went home and defragged the computer. Do your updates and defrag it, empty the recycling bin as well. Thank you, Daniel. So I might have been doing something else too. Bradley Radu, Sam Cullen, Luke Page, James Scott. Cullen and Ratu are duking it out. They're side by side. Down at turn 4. Scott back up into 4th spot already. His next target, Luke Page, and then he's got 2.7 to try and catch Ratu and Cullen. Hayne, Pianazzola, Marsh and Kalman to pit lane. Ratu leads on the streets of the Motor City. And I'll finally get around to making that coffee now that everything's settling down a little bit out there on the black stuff. Watch how terribly this goes, ladies and gentlemen. Men at multitasking. But so far, so good. And that's Terry Marsh. Sorry, Ross Amor, I should say, being passed by Alex Tzikis. James Scott. Yeah, I'll second that, Snedden. Re-ink the typewriter ribbon and make sure that is sounding nice. Stop it, Neely. Stop it. Throw that shade at him tomorrow night when he's in here having a chat with us in the booth, would you? Neely's here tomorrow night. Matty Schmidtke's here as well. All-American doubleheader, as I said. Full night of sprint racing. V's coming to you from Willow Springs. Porsches from St. Petersburg. Schmitty with me for the V's. Neely for the Porsches. And we hope you'll be here with us for all of that, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to a massive Thursday night on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. And an even more massive 6 weeks about to get underway with the FIFA World Cup starting on the weekend. And, of course, a Le Mans 24-hour as well. Now...
It was Lucky Cable who got to the side of Will Buchanan early on. We saw when Will was in the wall.
A 5-second penalty there. I'm just wondering what Neely's getting at there. Is he trying to do Morse code or something? Or binary code or something? Whoa! Andy Barber in the concrete, and Ryan in the wall as well, in the tyres. Oh, jeez. Bang! Poor old Ryan Barber just smashed into like a pinata. And Andy, not much better. Bang! Side contact, heavy contact with the concrete out of turn 2. From Ernie Toff's standpoint, watch this. Oh. Did not sight him until he hit him. Didn't see him. The problem with things being blind. Oh, SOS, thank you, Neely. Yes, SOS, please, someone help me. Wasn't that a song once upon a time? Was it Rihanna or something like that did the song? SOS? What happened to holding the brakes? Yeah, that's a fair point, Daniel Seton. Will let race control be the judge of that one? Quite a few pit stops have already played out as well, Adam, but several of these guys happy to leave it long. Buchanan, Suffolk on the pit lane, so too Cowman, Pianozola and Marsh. But the top 17 so far down to Andy Barber, all yet to stop.
It's probably a bit too early to stop here. The Supercars for the tyre jag. You don't want to leave yourself with bung tyres, especially around here. What track temperature we got? It's 45, so it's a pretty warm track as well. And yeah, it's a pretty abrasive surface, so the tyres will be screaming a bit. So the last thing you want to do is a bit too early and leave yourself open to be attacked later in the race. But also, you don't want to leave it too late and have yourself get undercut.
Indeed. Here I am setting myself up for a massive night at the computer, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that I'm having a coffee after 9:30, but anyway, there we go.
I think Jake's got
the things we do to keep ourselves going.
I think he's got the wall at turn 2 there. Car's not looking good.
Jake Cowman. Yeah. No, there's been a fair rate of attrition tonight, and it stretches across both the 86s as well as the Supercars. We'll recap the lot for you at the end of this third and final race, which, as we know, is 35 minutes long. Not much we could do about the fact that we missed the first. Whoa!
Buchanan's got one of those new pit lane penalties.
Yep. 6.5 minutes of the opening race too, but by the way, ladies and gentlemen, apologies for that. But that's why we're running actually ahead of schedule here. This race probably wasn't scheduled to finish until after 10 o'clock. It's now going to finish on the stroke of 10 o'clock as a result of some miscalculations by G. Heaney. Ratu Cullen, Scott's now cleared Jason Douglas, Blake Fitz, Luke Page, and Ben Alex Tzikis, Lachlan Capel. Was important for Scott to get up into third spot to commence the charge forward to try and catch Sam Cullen, but the problem isn't Cullen, it's the 3.42 second deficit to Bradley Ratu. Let's have a look at what happened to Will Buchanan again. Adam Lavis will be able to talk us through this one. iRacing in their little, if it ain't broke, fix it updates.
Could even be that. Like, I don't know, I haven't actually driven it yet. But yeah, it does warn you to not change gears during the pits anymore, so I wonder if that does something.
Quite possibly so. And Cowman. That was the back half of his incident. Here's Cooper Barnes under pressure from the Whiskey Business Racing entry.
I locked the
so
rears.
Much pressure in fact that he locked the rears and missed the corner. Willie Buchanan, we're hearing, has had a moment as well. 40.2 seconds on the pit lane that second time through for Will. So that's that puts him right out of contention as far as the night is concerned.
Barber as well. He's also been done.
Yep. Douglas, meanwhile, under pressure from Fitz and Page. Andy Barber, did you say?
Yeah, Andy's got a black flag. The pit lane's something, so it must be pretty. I'm guessing it must be a bit strict on that. So let's see, because you used to be able to just flick the gears up and down and get an extra 1 or 2 k's an hour, and now our racing is thinking into that. So yeah, it'd be tricky if you're already stuck in a gear though. So I have to get into a habit of, if you want to change gear, to lift first before you change gear to make sure it doesn't go up.
But here's the thing, right? I just hope, because you know what it's like, Adam, when we go to Fuji and Hockenheim and Nürburgring and things like that. Like, they're so stringent with those pit lane entry and exit penalties, and there's no consistency. I just hope that this implementation they've now brought in is consistent across the board and not willy-nilly hit and miss, because that'll just annoy the crap out of people. The new pit limiter system is so strict, is the word from Dan Snedden, who was showing me some on-board footage of his from Mount Panorama earlier today, just typical server, practice server crashes and things like that. Fantastic. Losing, just crashing. Oh. Well, that was not in the script, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately. You know, all those things I've said in the past about Australia being a first world country with third world internet? Yeah. Unfortunately, that has proven to be our Achilles heel once again. But we're back, and we have action for you once more on the streets of Detroit, Belle, Michigan. A somewhat compromised back end of the broadcast here for you because we have probably lost all our relatives with regards to positions gained and lost, but we'll see how we go. In the meanwhile, this is Luke Page. Sixth spot on the racetrack. He's chasing Jason Douglas. He's got Lachlan Capel for company as well. Capel does have a penalty hovering over him, and now he's gone down on the inside of Page for sixth. Ratu, Scott, Cullen, Blacklock, Douglas, Capel. The only good thing out of that was I didn't have to worry about multitasking. I was able to make the coffee whilst Adam was getting the broadcast back up and running, with the network finally willing to cooperate. Just once, it'd be nice to get through a week without tech issues. A sentiment that I'm sure Bondi echoes from down there in Gundagai at the moment. Daniel Snedden, all on the James Scott bandwagon at the moment, and why wouldn't he be? Scotty's 2.7 in arrears at Bradley Russell at the moment. Both of them are yet to stop. This is Bradley's race to lose right now, folks, but Scott would fancy his chances of being the one to stand in the way of that.
The other thing too is we've lost some pit data, so those guys that shows as a pit, we're not like on our end they may have pitted. Because obviously if they pitted during the that break there, we don't know. Correct,
that's a fair point. So we've got no damn idea what the hell's going on in relation to all that, because we've picked this race back up on lap 15 and we did drop out on about lap 11. In the meanwhile, this is Jason Douglas. I mentioned 13 laps was probably the threshold earlier for the previous race. So we're another 15 minutes up the road, somewhere in the realm of 23, 24 laps for this one, probably 23. Because I'm just trying to crunch the numbers here, and a minute and a half, and 2 is 3, and 2 is 6. This is 35 minutes. 6 sixes are 36. 6 times 4 is 24. Take 1 away, 23. Okay, maybe 23, but likely that we've got to keep an eye on that as well, because with the pit lane transit and the fact that it's not a neat 1 minute 30 lap time, there's a chance that we might have to do some overtime to get that 23rd complete, or there might not be enough leverage for overtime and it might get flagged at 22. But at the moment we're on lap 16. We've only just started that. Bradley Ratu leads us down towards turn 3. No, we should be right. We should be more than okay, because we're not yet at 10.5 minutes to go. 10 minutes and 40 to go. 10.5 gives us 7. This is lap 16. 10.5, 20. Yeah, it's a 23 lap. I'm confident enough with that now. I'm in about 4th or 5th gear at the moment. I'm usually a bit further up the scale, 6th, 7th or 8th gear at this time of the night, folks. So I apologise if the NAS is a little bit out of whack. But have a look at James Scott. Now that he's got clear air, he's rocking and rolling beautifully. Chasing Bradley Ratu. Reeling him in. And 2 heavyweights are about to duke it out on the streets of Detroit. And Scotty will look to do this as cleanly and calmly and smoothly as possible. Remember as well, the Australian Swimming Championships continuing. They're on 9. 800 metre freestyle underway at the moment. Not a huge crowd there at the Olympic Aquatic Centre tonight. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I'm sure the 9 Network are as well, considering they've invested heavily in swimming in the last few months.
The plus side is that the lap thinking is working, so it shows that they didn't do pit stops.
Yes, correct. How late do they want to leave it if they haven't already stopped? And where is the threshold with regards to those that have and those that haven't? That we're not aware of. Side by side, Adam Hayne. Side by side with Fitzy.
I'd be very surprised if anyone actually hasn't stopped at this point, because like your tyres would be screaming
Correct.
at this point.
I'll be begging for mercy. Hayne, the switch back, the crisscross, the up and under. There on Fitz. Hayne and Fitz side by side. Fitz nearly in the concrete. Hayne's going to have to recalibrate and go again. Onto the back straight. In the Motor City. And now within a second of Ratu is James Scott. We are watching the battle for position number 8. Fitz versus Hayne. Right here, right now.
On the plus side, YouTube didn't lose the stream, so we've managed to still only have one stream for tonight.
Well, that's good.
Well, at least something
That
works.
is-
At least that fallback system did actually work in the YouTube's algorithm.
The pluses and minuses, the positives and the negatives. I don't mind it. Lap 18, 8 minutes to go. Ratu, Scott, Cullen, Blacklock, Capel, Douglas. And 5 to go at the line. I don't see any conceivable way that we don't get the 23 here. Here's Jeff Adams in 17th. Now, at the moment, the dev split podium is reading Ross Amor, Nathan Michael, Mitch Wood. So Wood got one earlier, didn't he? Michael got one.
Mitch got the first one, Nathan the second one.
And Ross Amor could be about to make it 3 different winners in 3 races in the dev split. So good to see some variety there.
We also don't
Can't
need,
say the same for the pro split.
we don't need to see the positions again, because we know Mitch Wood was at the back of the field because of that he was caught up with the big crash in race 2. So he's done real well to come back in this race.
This is Cooper Barnes trying to hold his own with Jeff Adams, and so far successfully. But Adams is about to win the war, I think. Down the inside, got him. Barnes will have to yield. He tries to hang tough around the outside. That did balk Jeff Adams a little bit. Now Adams is back into the clutches of his teammate, Richard King. We ride on board with James Scott. Oh, like a Bradley Radu like a cheap suit, and to the outside. And turn 3. Through they go. Tyson Broad dropping down the order. I think Tyson Broad's had a packet loss on the subject of another internet failure tonight.
That's more of a brake failure.
Equipment failure. And he's just parked there.
I don't know about equipment. I think it's more just a slight late and a lock up, and there was nowhere to go.
Now, has he gone the old F4? We'll find out in a moment, because the boys are coming down to that part of the racetrack. He's not there, so yeah, the old range quit. The old F4. That's Tyson Broad. His night's done. Barber and Barber will be beneficiaries of that. So too JD Dent. Broad becomes just the second retirement of this race. In a big way, too. Thrown the water out of the bath. Round we go. This is James Scott. All over the bag of Broad like a cheap suit, but I tell you what, credit to Broad. Credit to Broad. Oh, sorry, Bradley Ratu, I should say, the way in which he has withstood the pressure here. Sorry, I had Broad on the mind because the road's quit. Down the the back straight we go. Ratu, Scott to the outside. 2 Mustangs going at it. Whoa, Scotty sliding through. 4 laps to go. forward now with James Scott, chasing Bradley Rudder down the back straight. It's been a brilliant run so far. Down towards turn 9. Can Scotty complete the treble, or does Rudder have enough to keep him at bay and deny him the clean sweep, the hat-trick tonight? We shall wait and see. Just enjoy listening to the sound at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. How good's this been? At what point will Scott go for his move? 3 to go in Belle, Michigan. And again, this is illustrating. Scott goes for it on the inside. Oh dear, through turn 3, they're both on the limit. They're both on the ragged edge. Amazing drama here. Unbelievable. And then more trouble further back, this time involving Cooper Barnes and Jeff Adams. And Jackson Sufong also down the road as well. Slipping and sliding through. Magnificent the way in which Bradley Radu stood up and answered the challenge here. But again, Adam, we're getting ready for the penultimate lap. This is just illustrating yet again just how bloody difficult it is. And the boys all said the same thing after the Toyota 86 race, didn't they? Just how hard it is to find a way through here. Scotty's been a cut above tonight, but he just cannot find a way by Bradley Radu, who's put up a great defence.
Yeah, Brad's doing well here. Obviously, he's probably got a glass of milk on the line here for this win, so he'll be trying to get that at the end.
Oh, trouble. Tufong. Got again down at turn 3. He tried this last time through. He's sliding all the way through. We didn't catch it. That's the moment. That is it. Bradley Ratu. The pressure valve released. Got unfortunately unable to pull it up. Slid it, bogged it down, didn't spin it. But has lost too much ground now on Bradley Ratu. And the hopes of a hat-trick have been dashed. 53 seconds to go. Can you believe this? What a moment. Well done to Bradley Radu. Great recovery from Will Buchanan despite that early setback. He sits there in position number 19 at the moment, which is 12th in class. Meanwhile ahead, as we see the white flag fly this time through, you've picked up Blake Fitz and Dave Oliver. Dave Oliver's there in 15th. Just behind him is Richard King. Jeff Adams, Cooper Barnes resume their duel. Blake Fitz further up the road has got good breathing space on Adam Hayne, 8th and 9th. Alex Tzikis rounds out the top 10. Elite split competitors make up the top 10 spots at the moment. One thing I did not get to finish talking about earlier, folks, race.tgsrci.com is where you go if you want to join the club or get involved in any of the action we're part of here, and any of our regular season competition. Did have two blokes reach out to me. Oh, Mitch, yeah, you're right. Mitch Wood's out of fuel. Is he potentially? Is he? He's in trouble here. Mitch Wood's not going to win this. Mitch Wood is trying to limp it home. I'm not sure he's going to be able to.
He's going to do a whole nother lap, yeah.
He's out of fuel. He might have to come to pit lane. Surely. Jason Douglas under pressure from Luke Page. Two blokes who loved their supercars in a bygone era. I think they're eyeing off some GT3 racing now. Michael Angus and also David Kirby. The two of them reached out to me respectively, individually, separately this week to say good day and checking on how things were going. But they also reached out with a view to what's going on here when the new term starts, etc., what's on what night, when I'm commentating, etc., just so they can find out when we can go racing. So two names from a bygone era back on track in the coming weeks. So looking forward to seeing them back out there. Meanwhile, well done to Bradley Ratu. Such a brilliant effort to see off the looming threat of James Scott, and Ratu wins race 3 in Detroit. On Belle in Michigan.
I think Mitch is just going around again. So I think he's just on the mega save, trying to use up the gap he has to make sure he can make it.
And that was Jeff Adams off the road late in the piece as well. Ratu from Scott, Sammy Cullinan for third, held off Blacklock, Capel, then Douglas, then Page, Fitz, Hayne, and Tzikis, with Amor coming through as the winner of the Dev Split finale here. And this battle is still on between Cooper Barnes and Will Buchanan. And in behind him is that Richard King as well, or is that Jeff Adams?
That's Kingy. Jeff's
That's
just further
King.
back. Yeah, Jeff had that mistake before.
Yeah, so why is Cooper showing ahead of Richard King there? Because he was actually, he was showing behind Richard King on my timing screen, but he was actually ahead of him on the actual shot. So I don't know what's going on there.
That was just
That's
overtaking
a
each other. Mitch hasn't made it.
No, Mitch, no. Oh dear. Now
Oh,
have a look at
Buchanan.
this, the run of the line. Richard King, Will Buchanan, Cooper Barnes, Barnesy got there. Will Buchanan comes through for 12th in class. Barnes wins to be confirmed. And Kingy is 5th in the Dev Split. And Buchanan is 12th in the Elite. Oh boy. Ratu, Scott, then Cullen, then Blacklock, then Capel, then Douglas, then Page, then Fitz, then Hayne and Tzikis, the top 10. Margin of the end, 0.9 of a second. Well done, Bradley. Ratu denies James Scott of the sweep of the night, but I reckon Scotty's got round points well and truly secured. Well and truly in his lap. Beautifully done. We'll hear from Sam Blacklock in a moment, who recovered to 4th from the back of the grid in that third race. Nice drive that, actually, from Sam Blacklock. Rocky Capel, then Jason Douglas, then Luke Page, Blake Fitz, Adam Hayne, and Alex Tzikis. Good battles throughout the field, but again, just how difficult is it to overtake around here? And those tyres on a 44-degree track begging for mercy on more than one occasion. Ross Amor, 3 different winners in the night in the Dev Split, and 2 different winners in the Elite Split. There you go. Nathan Michael, Mitch Wood, Dave Oliver, the top 4 in the Dev Split there. We'll have Bradley Ratu here in just a moment with his teammate Sam Blacklock. Looking forward to hearing from those. The casualty ward, Adam Lavis, let's have a quick look at that if we can. I think it was just the two of them in the end, Tyson Broad and Jake Kalman. Everyone else looks as though they've made the finish, be it a lap down or on the league lap, one or the other. Looks like there were 4 drivers that were a lap down.
Results are being silly again.
Supong, Ryan and Andy Barber, and also JD Dent. Yeah, look at that. It does want to cooperate, does it? All right, bugger it. Right, let's just press on. Bradley Ratu's here. Sam Blacklock is here. Sammy, I might go to you first. Well done, mate. Magnificent result. Terrific drive through the field from the back of the grid. Unfortunately, just wrong place, wrong time in race 2.
Yeah, hey guys. I suppose, like you said, race 2 just didn't really happen for me. So, yeah, to have the result from, what did I start, 26th, 24th, I think, no, 26th. So, yeah, to go from there to, what is, I think, 4th, I can't complain too much. We had a really good car under us. It was pretty obvious our tyre wear was quite good. So, even towards the end of the race there, I was starting to reel Sam Cullen back in, but he just had enough to hold me off, and we'll settle for 4th. But, we'll take it. It's a good recovery.
very good recovery indeed, and a lot of people will appreciate it even more so considering that you were able to work your way through the field and come up 20-odd spots on a circuit notoriously difficult for overtaking, and that was illustrated on more than one occasion at the front of the field, as Bradley will attest to. Like, once he got to the front, James Scott had a mongrel of a time and eventually an unsuccessful time trying to get by him. So for you to be able to keep your nose clean and also execute some overtaking moves along the way, I guess it doesn't necessarily make up for the misfortunes of Heat 2, but it must be nice to have been able to salvage a strong result out of the night.
Yeah, exactly. I think after race 2, I just wanted a nice, I wouldn't say relax, but, you know, to be able to do a long run just to see what the car would do, and we were able to do that. I think I hit it on like 4 or 5 or something like that, and yeah, I was quite surprised with how strong the undercut was. You know, I don't know how well it would work in the likes of Pro Series where everyone's just sort of on the ball, but tonight it definitely worked. You know, I had some slower cars in between myself and the leaders, and you know, was just able to put my head down after that pit stop. And there's still a few cars I had to overtake that had sort of fallen back, but for the most part, it was just trying to get the most out of the car every lap, and even then, you know, it still had a bit of fight left in it towards the end. So I'm pretty happy. You know, if you want to call that, you know, a bit of a test session for the car, I wouldn't disagree. So yeah, awesome to recover like that, and just, yeah, nice to have some good battles with a few different people up and down the field. And also my teammates for rocking up as well. Although I think some of them were a bit naughty tonight. So, yeah, I think we'll be getting the wooden ruler out.
Well, I was going to say, in one respect, yes. Ironic, the timing of that comment from you, considering the comment that was on screen from Will Buchanan as well. He said, that Capel guy. I'm sure there'll be some comments shared in exchange with regards to all of that, mate. But the most pleasing thing, I guess, is that there was such a strong showing from the stable. Always nice to have you guys go out in force on the occasions where you're able to be in the house, considering that last week was a Pro Series week.
Yeah, it's always good, and I'm sure we're all aware, Mr. William Buchanan. He's, you know, raced, I think, a couple rounds now. I could be wrong, but I know he was definitely there last round, and he did an awesome job. So, you know, it's good that we get to race against him and obviously James as well. So, you know, it's a good test for us. You know, we're still doing the same thing, just sort of rocking up and having a crack at it. And, yeah, I think, you know, for us to do, or have the pace we did tonight was probably shows that we went probably in the right direction with setup. But look, you know, awesome to race against those guys and sort of have a bit of a friendly sort of cross-series rivalry, and look forward to hitting the track, whatever race is next. I am not sure.
Well, let me educate you. Next week, the series finale, 60 minutes, Mount Panorama Bathurst. So not only am I envisaging that you guys will be here in the house as per usual, mate, but I'm expecting a strong showing from the club in general, because Bathurst Mount Panorama Supercars, a combination that seems to draw in the big numbers, seems to appeal to so many, such as the steep, rich history and tradition of that circuit and that car. It'll be interesting to see how many people take it up next Wednesday night and put their hat in the ring and say, let's go and have some fun. The last race, the last hit out, the last chance for the term.
Yeah, so I guess it's been a while since I've thrown one of these cars around Bathurst, so I might have to rock up for that. I think pretty much every Bathurst race I've done in GSRC's been relatively entertaining, so I'll be honest, I don't think we're going to have any weather there, but it'd be nice if we did. It's made some pretty cool races there when we've done the hour race with the 2 compulsory stops, and yeah, I know the likes of Tyson Broad. He's pretty quick in the wet conditions, so I'm sure he's probably in the same boat as me. But yeah, we'll probably be. Well, I'd say some of us will be there for that, as well as getting ready for Pro Series Enduros. Yeah, now co-drivers I think will be announced pretty shortly, but that was kind of the point of tonight, was to see who's going to be the co-drivers, and I do believe we only had one who's not full-time in the series, so yeah, I suppose he's probably getting a co-drive.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. They get it away next Friday night, don't they? Somewhere around there. Is that? Am I right? Or is it the week after?
I'll be honest, Zach. I couldn't tell you. I'm that busy with work and stuff at the moment that I'm not sure. All I know is it's the 26th. Don't really know what date it is today. Yeah.
Okay, so for the benefit of everybody tuning in at home, I guess the good thing from a GSRC standpoint is that there's no supercar clash between us and the Pro Series now until September. That's a huge positive for us going into Term 3. Yes, we're still going to have a couple of Porsche rounds, and we'll deal with that as we get there. But round 5, the Phillip Island 500, the 26th of June. Then July 17, also a Friday, Sandown 500. And then, of course, the all-day marathon on Sunday, August 16, the Bathurst 1000. Actually, that is a huge day. That is a huge day, because it was just confirmed tonight that we go straight out of the Bathurst 1000 for the Logitech G Pro Invitational Series, straight into the Logie Awards. So massive Sunday, either behind the microphone or on the lounge for yours truly. I have been told to put the date in the diary for the 16th, but who knows whether or not I'm broadcasting with the boys on that day or not. I'll wait and see. And if not, I know I've got an appointment in Goodna to go to with the football, the Ipswich Jets. They were surprised to see me last week. They were just happy to know I was still alive. It had been a while since the dates had aligned nicely enough for me not to be having to be worried about it being in 2 places at once. I was able to go to the footy instead of saying to them, look, sorry, I'm in Grenfell or Bega, I'm away commentating karting. Now, let's talk more about that, because it's clear that that's the focus. Bathurst will be a nice hit out for you guys next week in what's sort of a lay week, and then the attention will go towards the Enduros. I mean, such a pivotal point of the season, mate, because the Enduro Cup goes on the line. You guys would love to make a big statement there, but at the same time, so will everyone else. How much work, how much prep time, how much planning will go into those 3 big races, considering that they are vastly spread out over the course of about 8 different weeks?
Yeah, it's going to be very different to last year. Obviously, I drove with James Scott last year, and yeah, that didn't really go to plan for us as well as we'd hoped. So yeah, I'm sure Tyson's sort of looking to have a strong run through those races, and his pace recently has been awesome. He's been helping us test for Pro Series as well, and his pace has been pretty much as good as ours, if not better at times. So I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, we've got a lot of work to go between now and Phillip Island, and then obviously the remaining races. And you know, I'm sure James is in the same position. And yeah, I mean, I don't know there's much left of James tonight after Snedden's done with him, but look, I'm hoping you know, for all of our sakes, we have a really solid run through those endurance races.
All right, mate, stay there, because you mentioned James Scott, a guy that got to acquaint himself with him very much on the racetrack in that 3rd and final race, was your teammate Bradley Ratu. I want to come back to you in a moment, Sammy, so stay with me. But Bradley, let's bring you in at this point in time. The only person that was able to stop the James Scott the James Scott Road Show tonight was you. Phenomenal performance there in race 3. Yep, difficult track to overtake on, but also when the tyres are begging for mercy, I don't think Scotty could have thrown any more at you, and you couldn't have withstood the pressure any better if you tried. That was a really nice drive.
Yeah, appreciate it. I think every chance that I had, I was looking down at the relative. I was just seeing like whether slightly different line or accelerating a little bit differently or even using the brakes slightly differently would sort of help mitigate him closing in so fast. But it didn't really seem to matter too much what I did. He was going to catch me anyway. Caught some lap cars. I don't know how many laps from the end, and I lost a bit of time in that, and that was definitely going to get caught by James from that point. So I just had to try and hold on and defend the best I could and keep it clean with him, and we did that.
Indeed. Now, the first two races, talk me through those from your standpoint, because as we saw, Sam had his misfortune in race 2. Not a straightforward race, that one for Orbit Drop Bear, but you bounced back with flying colours in race 3, I thought.
Yeah, race 1, I struggled a bit getting to grips with how the car drove. I hadn't done a lap beyond lap 1, so it was all sort of new to me in race 1. And I made some adjustments to the car to try and get the car to suit me a little bit more personally, which I don't know if it worked because I ended up on the wall of Exeter Turn 2 anyway. And that was just kind of trying to nurse the car home as quick as I could and gain positions. And yeah, race 3. I got past the cars in front of me as quick as I could. Big moves down in the inside of big braking zones, and for the most part, I was able to make those moves pretty easy. There was one that, I think it was Sam who had a good crack at racing me. Beyond that, out in the fresh air for a while until James caught me.
Exactly. Were you worried about the looming threat that was James Scott, considering the pace he had on the entire field, which he showcased beautifully in race 1? Were you nervous at any point, or did you know that you were able to go punch for punch with him and hold on?
I definitely knew it was coming, I'll tell you that. With defending, I didn't really know. I haven't raced Belle Isle in quite a while. I quite like the track. I think it's a good driving track. Quite hard to pass at, as you said. I just didn't know if James had the car under him to make the pass, regardless of how hard I defended, but I seem to have made it work.
You certainly did, and it must be pleasing as well, because as Sam has already alluded to, the big part of the Pro Series season is on the horizon there, mate. You've got 3 big races coming the way of the boys that are the championship regulars. You've got guys like AITX Revolution E-Racing that are going to throw their hat into the ring. We know Will Buchanan's going to feature there prominently, considering that he has been a substitute fill-in replacement driver on the grid on a couple of occasions now and really held his own when he has. All to play for there, and of course there'll be some star recruits from within the Orbit Drop Bear stable being called upon to lend their service as a co-driver as well. An exciting time of the year for you lot.
Yeah, well, unfortunately I'm going to miss Phillip Island at this stage, so I'm definitely going to go backwards in points in the championship. So far, that series or that season has been not great, but not bad. 2 rounds have had technical issues. Very happy to still be in 17th, to be honest. But it'll be good to see Will Buchanan racing, or at least racing Will Buchanan if we come across each other on track. I think he did really well at Mexico, actually. I don't doubt that he's gonna do well across the Enduro series if he gets to drive the whole lot of it.
Indeed. Sam Cullen, sorry I couldn't make it at the post-race show. That's all right, mate. All good. We'll hopefully endeavour to catch up with you next week. We've got Greg Heaney standing by here once we're done talking to the Orbit Drop Bear boys, and Heaney's got a little bit of explaining to do anyway, so we're looking forward to hearing from him very shortly. But in the meantime, just going back to you, Brad, the interesting thing I want to hear from you now is, because it's an off week for Logitech this week, next week. Obviously, unfortunate that you miss Phillip Island, but no doubt look to bounce back in the other two Enduros. How do you feel about next week and a 60-minute warm-up around Mount Panorama? Is that something that entices you?
I mean, I think we're all going to try and rock up. We're probably going to try and get all our possible co-drivers in to at least drive the track. I don't know who's going to be available and who isn't at this stage, but hopefully everyone comes in. But I'm definitely going to be interested in doing it. Probably do what we usually do and just try some different setup things and see if it works, and if it doesn't, it goes in the bin. If it does, well, we try and implement it to our race setups. So
Indeed. Hey, the other obvious question goes to your teammate Sam Blacklock before I let you guys do some thank yous and get on out of here. Talk to me, actually, a question for both of you. Talk to me about tyre wear in all of that, because the hot temperatures on the circuit, Adam Lavis pointed out during the comms that because we had a tech issue of our own partway through that third race, so by the time we cut back in, we didn't have all the pit lane data that we would have liked to have been able to pass on to the audience at home, but we would have been very surprised if you guys hadn't stopped before the halfway mark of that race, just because of the hot temperatures and how quickly the tyres deteriorate on these cars. Just how much of a wild, sketchy sort of ride was it out there in the closing stages? We saw how sketchy it was for James Scott, but how was it for you two blokes? Start with you, Brad.
Well, yeah, I pitted. I don't even remember when I pitted, to be honest, but I just pitted when I did so that I could at least undercut the people behind me to try and open up that gap a bit, which didn't work. I think I was ripping through the tyre quite a bit, actually. I was kind of struggling personally, which probably means I was overdriving it, but yeah, I mean, a track like Belle, it's mechanical grip. I'm not really sure how hot the track got then. I think it was about 40 degrees. So, mechanical grip, slick tyres on a V8 Supercar, 45 degree track temp. Yeah, you're going to hurt your tyres pretty easily if you, lock up, slide too much, all that kind of stuff. And you got to keep that in mind when you're, on the long run. The shorter runs, it doesn't matter too much, or as much. But yeah, long runs, definitely got to look after those tyres.
Your thoughts on that, Sam?
I just work here. Look, I've kind of zoned out and missed the question. But
we're talking about tyre wear, mate. Tyre wear. How noticeable was it in that third race?
Yeah, definitely. I felt like I was able to drive the car quite smooth on the sort of the initial laps, especially after that pit stop. So once I sort of got settled in, 2 or 3 laps on that fresh tyre without really pushing it, the car sort of just slowly drops off, and then it sort of seemed to stay pretty static once you got sort of 7 maybe laps in. So I felt like maybe it was just the early management that helped me just with that undercut, but yeah, I definitely felt like the car sort of stayed sort of the same from lap 7 of the stint to basically the end of the race. So yeah, I think that's probably just a different driving style. I think we're all on slightly different setups too, so it's probably why there's a bit of difference, but yeah, I was pretty happy with how the car drove on the older tyres as well. So I know I heard Brad whinging he wanted a bit more turn in it. I'll be honest, never hear Brad say that ever. That's obviously a lie. That's all he says. So yeah, look, we've definitely got some tuning up to do, but tyre life wise, I think we're on the right track there.
Indeed. All right, very nicely done. Now, on that subject, I don't think there's anything else left to ask you blokes, and I do apologise if I've left anything out along the way here. Mixed bag of results tonight, but great showing, particularly in that third race, and particularly pleasing, no doubt, for you, Bradley, to be able to deny James Scott of what would have been a deserved clean sweep here on the streets of Detroit, and all roads now lead to the mountain for the season finale. Bradley, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the boys at the team, Logitech GOBDM, and the Logitech iLiveries Revolution Race Gear, and Sam for putting together the doc for tonight.
Very nicely done. Sammy, I did just think of one more question I wanted to ask you. At what point, considering sponsors saw plenty at all three races, no need for a shout-out, says Gentle Stan. They certainly got their value for money tonight, no doubt about that. Same goes for the AITX stable, actually, quite frankly. Sammy, at what point should we expect some social media drop content from you guys with regards to who's lining up for those Enduros, considering that they are now just over a fortnight away?
Look, hoping to be this weekend. Work's been incredibly busy, so haven't had much time. Still got a bit to catch up on media-wise, so I'm hoping by the weekend. I know that pretty much all of our co-drivers are locked in, although I know one car is probably not quite 100% locked in. So I guess we all know what's going on for the most part. Look, we've got some decent lineups, so we're looking forward to revealing them. And like I said, hopefully this weekend, maybe Sunday night, maybe set your alarm for 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Sunday night. Maybe I can do something by then.
Right, we'll keep an eye out on that. I like how he's given us a time frame to keep an eye on. Brad's already escaped the booth, mate, but are there any other racing opportunities for the Logitech Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport stable between now and then?
Look, I'll be honest. I'm not too sure. I know a few of the boys are doing the odd bits here and there. I think we'll have a few cars on Friday night for this league. Other than that, I think, at least us V8 boys, we're just sort of looking forward to the Pro Series, Enduros. A few of the other boys are off doing their own thing. Our favourite German, Harold, I think he's getting ready for some Porsche Cup League over in Europe, so we're cheering him on for that. And,
All right, very nicely done. Now, the other point as well, and this is of particular interest for those of you tuning in at home. I mentioned that the upcoming Logitech V8 Pro calendar contains only one clash with us and the next round of Wednesday Night Motorsport, the next term of Wednesday Night Motorsport. Unfortunately, I say that there's only one with regards to the supercars, but there's bloody 4 Porsche rounds in the next term. Week 2, Week 4, Week 6 and Week 8. They have not missed. So there are 5 rounds next term that clash with either the Porsches or the supercars on a Wednesday night. Doesn't matter if you're not only running the supercars, but if you're running both series, yes, no real chance to make a play for the championship here on a Wednesday night. Next term, it would seem. So that's gonna, and that is actually going to compromise my ability to be available on a Wednesday night on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club next term. Hopefully somebody else is here willing to pick up the freight at that point in time. And if it means I have to go back to 2 nights a week, then so be it. Thank you very much, Sammy. Appreciate you stopping on by, mate. Well done. Good hustle there in that third race. Nice recovery, nice comeback, and good to catch up with you for the first time in far too long as well.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Good to see you. And just a quick shout out to Logitech G, iLiveries, and Revolution Race Gear. And look, I'll do the shameless Sam Blacklock Media as well. Also just a big shout out to the AITX boys, James Scott, Will Buchanan. Looking forward to what's to come.
I'm loving the rivalry that's forming there between those two teams at the moment. And of course, it's not lost on anybody that you guys, do have acquaintances and friendships with them outside of racing. As you said, Scotty's been in the stable before with you guys as a co-driver, so you guys are very well familiar with each other. But it's a good on-track rivalry that's forming, and we're loving being able to sit here and view the action and watch what you guys bring to the table. So keep doing that, and we'll see you next week.
See you, Zach.
Mr. Heaney,
Apparently I have some explaining to do. What did I do wrong?
yeah, well, apart from the fact that you actually came in here and put your hand up twice as to the fact that the server had to be redone and reset and recalibrated and all that sort of stuff, then you got your sums wrong.
Did I?
Yes, we went in to join race 1 ready for an 8:45 launch, and you were already 7 minutes in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, my bad. Don't worry.
So,
Look, to be honest, it just meant you missed the massive kerfuffle at the start of race 1. So
yes, we missed a massive crash at the start of race 1, but we caught the one at the start of race 2, and then Adam's computer cried foul, his internet cried foul during race 3, so we lost part of that as well. So it's been a memorable sort of night.
yeah. Well, I don't have to touch next week's server, so I'm not touching next week's server. So that's as scheduled for next week.
And we want to remind everybody, including you, that is because of the Toyotas being a 3-race program, that is actually scheduled for 9 o'clock, lights out. 9 o'clock race server, Eastern Standard Time, next Wednesday night. And I'm sure Greg, as he sits there listening to that, is double checking that that's exactly how the server is set at this particular point in time.
I'll check it all weekend.
Yes, good boy. 9 o'clock. All right, so that aside, let's do some housekeeping. We might actually get out of here reasonably early enough tonight. I'm falling asleep at the desk, boys. I do apologise. I've hit the wall today. Talk to me about the challenges that faced Whiskey Business Racing out there tonight. Good showing from your team. Good result for Nathan Michael, I thought. Luke Page, unlucky in race 1. Obviously, you've got a long way to explaining that there was a monster bit of carnage in that opening race that we did miss. But that obviously leaves his championship aspirations hanging by a thread, given that Fitzy stayed out of trouble. And then, of course, you and the dev split trying to catch Ross Amor and deny him a championship. That's not exactly going the way you'd like it to at the moment, I wouldn't imagine.
No. So, yeah, race 1, unfortunately, I think it caught out. It got myself and I think also Luke caught out in that. I think Nathan only just squeezed through and Mitch managed to make it past it as well. So at least I'm pretty sure he did. And then, yeah, raced. And I actually got stuck. Like I could see it happening in front of me as I've come around the corner. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'll stay tight through turn 4. And all of a sudden I've got a car in front of me. And then somebody, I don't know who it was, come up and parked basically right behind me on my rear bumper. So I couldn't even back up to let the car in front of me try and get himself off the nose of my car and the concrete. So I had to wait. And yeah, that basically just put pay to race 1. And then race 2 wasn't completely terrible. I managed to make it through, at least I'm pretty sure I managed to make it through the start of that. I think Nathan may have copped a bump on the way through from an errant shoulder or something from another car. And then I got a helping hand into the wall at turn 3 on lap 1 of race 3. So my car certainly got a good battering around today, but yeah, managed to make it through to the end. And yeah, cracking drive from both Mitch and Nathan for getting on the podium at the end of it all. And yeah, well done to Luke to being able to manage to stay inside the 10 for race 3. But I want to give a shout out to Jordan Pianazzola. That was a fantastic drive from him, trying to hold me off for the last half of the second race. Oh, sorry, the third race.
Yes, and we saw a good chunk of the battles that were raging on the circuit in the third race as well. Now, I just want to alert everyone's attention to a bit of programming that you can tune into once we're done here. If you've got a Stan Sport subscription, folks, from now through until 1 a.m. There is free practice from the Circuit de la Sarthe. The 24 Hours of Le Mans is underway. First practice ahead of qualifying the early hours of tomorrow morning at 2:45 a.m. So a big night ahead on the lounge. The start of 4 massive days, or 5 massive days from Le Mans. And, of course, then the FIFA World Cup, and it all just rolls on from there. I won't be seeing much shut-eye in the next short while, I wouldn't imagine, nor will any other sports enthusiasts out there. But yes, Le Mans underway for those of you that want to tune in, and currently Ferrari on top of free practice. Speaking of which, Gentlemen's Endurance Championship continues here on Friday night. The boys have already mentioned that they're lining up for that from All But Drop Best, so we're looking forward to a big showing there. Talk to me about next week, Greg, because it's not lost on anybody. We've already said it, that because of the track more so than the car, but then again, there's a lot of love for the 86 and there's a lot of love for the Supercar in Australian Motorsport. We're expecting big numbers next week. We expect a few to come out of the woodwork and dip their toe into the water just for a one-off cameo. It's the right time of the season to do it, obviously, but there's still championships to play for, still championships on the line, so let's hope that whatever does play out on circuit next Wednesday night, that it doesn't have any significant impact on those championship fights.
Yeah, most definitely. I know Travis in race control has been pretty upfront with guys jumping in the last for the most part of this week already, and then obviously going to be the same for the next couple of days, and then it'll be then reiterated again next week for anybody that wants to jump in for last round hurrahs before the end of the season. So I mean, if unlucky if somebody up in the upper echelons of the championship do get caught out by something, but I mean, that's racing. But yes, you obviously try to have things in place to mitigate that, but we'll see what happens.
Indeed. Your stable's sitting very nicely in GT3 at the moment as well, mate. That Pro-Am split could be a whiskey business lock out of the podium. Yeah. I've already asked the guys to play nice and obviously race hard and fair, but try not to have too much green on green or blue on blue, whichever way you want to reference it. Contacts throughout the race and just push on and try to lock it out. It'd be a good feat to get that one locked out within the stadium, the stable, if I can get my English out. But yeah, no, it was a good showing from the guys on Monday. Particularly good drive from Dane, even in the trying conditions in race 2. So. Indeed, that was the case. From your standpoint, Greg, where are the goalposts for next week, mate? I mean, Adam's probably got the championship ready to rock and roll. We're going to have a look at a points update in just a few moments' time. He may have, I'm not sure, because my drive has frozen. But no, he is ready to rock and roll with that. It looks as though it could be a long shot trying to stop Ross, but I guess your focus will be on trying to fend off the would-be attack of Jeff Adams in the fight for second in the championship. Now, how do you go about that around Mount Panorama throughout the course of a 1 hour race, 60 minutes, 2 compulsory pit stops, knowing the trials and tribulations that can rear their ugly head there?
Hope and pray and send it. No, honestly, I'm just gonna hope that I make the end and that I'm in front of Jeff.
Yes.
If I'm in front of Jeff at the end, I mean, that's a tick box for myself. If I make the end entirely, I'll be happy. So we'll see what comes of it, and it'll be good if I can take home another little plaque and add it to the collection on the back of my chair. I don't think it's going to be a gold one, but if I can get one at least, I'll be happy.
And just a quick comment on Mitch Wood as well, mate. I mean, we haven't seen him through much of the season. He's missed more rounds than he's contested, but when he's been here, he's picked up, there's been 2 finishes outside the top 10. I just need to extend the screen here a little bit, boys. Just bear with me a moment. I'm just having a look. He's 9th in the championship. Didn't race the first 2 rounds, but since then, 16th, 4th, 2nd, 1st, 7th. 3 rounds of no appearance, no show, and then a 1st, a 12th, and a 3rd. So, I mean, yep, okay, run into trouble in race 1 at Long Beach and race 2 here. That's synonymous with, street racing. We expect you to run into trouble at some point. But apart from that, the results are strong. It'd be nice to see what he could bring to the table and put together throughout the course of a full 10-round season, should he have the chance to be here.
Yeah, I think that comes with the occupation of choice with
yes,
being FIFO and stuff. So I know he missed a couple of weeks in a row there where he got rostered on for, I think, 14 days or something straight. So he obviously missed 2 weeks, which is unfortunate for championship aspirations. But I mean, with the new point system, it could be the case of if he does show up on a little bit more consistently and takes away a few more podiums, he could end up in a similar position to some of the guys from Orbit that are running around in the GEC on a Friday with a very commanding gap to everybody behind.
Indeed, that is the case. We're looking forward to it immensely. Unfortunately, yes, there was just one example of where your night didn't go to plan on replay there. Yeah, and that's the difficult thing as well, mate. I mean, there are some people with, inconvenient life commitments that get in the road. I mean, some people's work schedule is far friendlier than others. Some people have FIFO commitments. So we know that is part of the whole box and dice here about how we go about our business with who's a regular and who's not by virtue of life commitments dictating their availability. But it is what it is, and everybody's in the same boat. But it's nice that they still, knowing that their championship aspirations are null and void, it's nice that they still make the effort to drop in from time to time and show us what they're made of.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, the more cars on the grid, the better the broadcast and the better the racing.
That's exactly right. Very nicely done. Very good work from you as always, mate. What's next for the boys? We'll probably see one or two out there tomorrow night in the Porsche, but then Friday night you'll be lining up again?
Yeah, I'll be back on the grid on Friday, but yeah, there'll be Sean and I know Sean will be on the grid tomorrow. Along with, I think Woodsy will be on the grid as well. But yeah, we'll have a couple of Porsches on the grid tomorrow. And then, we'll have a bunch of cars in the GEC on Friday.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Good to catch up with you as always, Greg. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Go well, and we'll catch up soon. Yeah.
No worries.
Who would you like to thank, by the way? Apart from
apart from the race team. Yeah, no. Obviously, make sure we get these out of the way. Disruptive Labs. Thanks for Richo over there. We've got Project X, Will Yarwood, CPM, Test and Tag. And I know we've got Sud Speed on the back of the Supercar, so I'll give them a shout as well. Just thanks for everybody else for showing up. I know there was a little bit of a muck around with the servers, but thank you again and sorry for everybody with that. But we made it through in the end, and we'll get on to next week.
We did indeed, and we will indeed. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
No worries.
So let's remind everybody of where we sit as far as this championship is concerned at the end of the night. Elite split first, yeah, why not? Blake Fitz holds on to his slender advantage. It's now 43 points, so the task becomes even more difficult, I guess, for Luke Page. Not dissimilar to Benny Snell versus Braden Sagasta, that battle and how that plays out in the Toyota 86 Challenge at the moment. The fact that Fitz has been able to extend his stranglehold, his buffer at the top of the points table at the moment. Round honours tonight went to James Scott ahead of Bradley Ratu and Sam Blacklock. 204 played 182 and 177. Interesting there as well. Fitz only really had the leg up in the first two races on Page, and that ended up being enough to get a 13-point swing at the end of the night. Jace Douglas up, Alex Tzikis up, Adam Hayne up, Andy Barber up. Bondi with that mechanical issue drops right out of contention. Unfortunately for him, with the D and S, with those computer issues, and he'll be ruining that. He'll be filthy about that. But we'll hopefully see him bounce back in a big way next term. Ryan Barber, James Scott, Sam Blacklock make up the top 10. So Bondi's misfortune ends up giving us a Chevy 1, 2, 3 in the points. 4 Ford, 6 Chevs, top 10. 43 the advantage fits to Page going into next week. 10 points Jace Douglas to Alex Tzikis, and 7 points Bond to Barber. They're the real battles to keep an eye on in the top 10 at the moment. Development split. Yeah, Ross Amor's just about home, isn't he? 115. 150 on the line next week. I'm just trying to crunch the numbers here in my head quick. 39 is... So even if Greg was to get the 32 back next week, even if Amor wasn't to score next week, the 71 that he's got there on top of the 115, that would put him at 186, and he's done. He's home. He cannot be caught at. Amor's the champion-elect in the dev split, as far as I can tell, crunching the numbers there quickly.
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah. So Ross Amor, well done. Come out and do the victory lap next week and sign, seal and deliver it. Put the full stop on it, the exclamation mark. Jeff Adams has got up into 3rd spot. Nathan Michael to 4th. Jake Kalman a shocker tonight, up down 2 spots into 5th. And Jeff Adams, the beneficiary of all of that. 712. 25 points behind Heaney, but well clear of Nathan Michael, 666. First in the round was Amor. Second was Nathan Michael. Third was Mitch Wood. Wood with that 12th in the second race. Unlucky. First and third for him. Nathan a third, a first and a second. But Ross Amor, the 2 seconds and a first, trump him by a significant margin. 213 played 197 there in all of that. 852 plays 737. And 712. Jake Kalman 4th, 40 points clear of Richard King. JD Denton, Dave Oliver well spaced out beyond that. Then Mitch Wood, Jackson Sufong, Jordan Pianazzola. Only 2 points covers them, and they're only 15 off Mitch Wood. That could change hands next week. That whole battle, 8th, 9th and 10th and 11th, I should say. 9th, 10th and 11th. But who knows? It could go either way. We'll wait and see. Challenging night, Adam. A few different things thrown at us there. JMR lead the points race at the moment. The team's bragging rights. 1-2, the elite split. The 2 Barber boys up there, 13-21. They're 153 and behind Chase Douglas and Alex Tzikis. Jeff Adams, Richard King, 13-12. 11.05 for Nathan Michael and Mitch Wood, Whiskey Business, and then Revolution E-Racing. 1,052, Luke Page, Sam Blacklock, Greg Heaney, Ross Amor, the top 9. And then Terry Marsh and Johnny Bannock, the top 10. It's interesting, isn't it? 3 Whiskey Business, 3 Revolution E-Racing, plus a JMR, Gremlin, Subpar and Orbit Drop Bear, and yet 3 different teams lead the points race at the moment. They are not the teams with the most presence in the top 10 of the team's bragging rights right now. Whiskey Business, 4th, 6th and 8th. And, of course, Revolution, 5th, 9th and 10th. Best placed at the dev split is the Subpar duo of Jeff Adams and Richard King. Going along quite nicely. So there you have it. Very good stuff. We do it with thanks to Trophi.AI, Flash Graphics, Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, and merch.tgsrci.com. A big thanks to all of those great people for their ongoing support of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube. Remember, 24 hours of Le Mans practice underway. You can watch it live and exclusive and ad-free on Stan Sport around Australia. There are slow zones in place around the circuit at the moment. 2 hours, 23 minutes and 45 seconds left in free practice 1. Remembering that tomorrow morning in the early hours at 2:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be qualifying for the LMP2 and LMGT3s. Hypercar qualifying from 3:30 a.m. and then free practice 2 follows that at 6 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow morning, and that is a full night practice session for them. Free practice continues tomorrow night at 10:45, straight after we get off air. Hyperpole on Friday morning from 4 a.m. So looking forward to that. And then free practice 2 at 7 a.m. on Friday morning. How good will that be? And then, of course, they're not then back on track until Saturday. The warm-up at 8 p.m. and the race itself from midnight Eastern Standard Time, full coverage from 11. So Le Mans underway, NBA finals continuing, of course, tomorrow morning. NHL finals continuing Friday morning. Plenty to look forward to in the next couple of days. The swimming continues as well. And, of course, the Australians up against Bangladesh tomorrow. They got done overnight, big time. So they'll be hoping to redeem themselves and salvage some pride. Tomorrow you can watch that from 2:50 p.m. And as soon as the first session of the match is done, the first innings is complete, you'll be able to tune in here and join us on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Let's have a look at what comes your way. Because, as I said, even though we're at the business end of the season, there's still a lot to try and sift our way through. Willow Springs International Raceway tomorrow night, Formula V. Hopefully I'm feeling a little bit more alive for that one. Willow Springs International Raceway, 3 sprint races, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you can join us for that. Matt Schmidtke with me for those 3 races. And then, of course, that's the penultimate round of Disruptive Labs Formula V. Then on to the Porsche Cup, and that will be from the St. Petersburg Grand Prix circuit. So we continue that street circuit swing through America this week. We went to Long Beach in the Formula 3s, to Detroit tonight, and then, of course, on to Florida and St. Petersburg tomorrow night for the Porsche Cup. Their first trip to that venue. Open split race 1, elite split race 2. Andrew Neal taking over from Matt Schmidtke to bring you all the action there. And I'll be with them for both. Now, Friday night, the Gentlemen's Endurance Championship. That one comes to you from Sebring International Raceway. That's a 1 hour and 45-minute affair. That is 300 kilometres in length at least, we envisage. And that will be from 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The race start there getting underway. So good luck to all and sundry. Second last round of the GTE and Le Mans Hypercar Series. The Gentlemen's Endurance Championship Friday night with thanks to Disruptive Labs. Saturday night, I think Neely and I are spinning the wheel tomorrow night, are we not? And we did that last week. Neely and I are spinning the wheel tomorrow night to determine the car of choice for Saturday night. Mountain Men, 32 laps, Mount Panorama. Nice little precursor to Le Mans, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you can join us for that. And then, of course, Grand Final week, ladies and gentlemen. The first part of that looks like this. We start a little bit later with both our main course offerings next week. As you can see there, I fluffed this on Monday night, so let me redeem myself now. 45 minutes for the Formula 3s. Now, that gets underway at the usual time, 7:25 Eastern. We're on air for a 7:30 race start. And Aidan Carr's already wrapped up that championship, but, of course, we'll wait and see. Actually, we can go back and cover that off if you don't mind, Adam Lavis. We can cover off the championship standings that we didn't get to on Monday night from GT3 and also Formula 3. I might come back and do those in just a tick. But yes, Aidan Carr's already wrapped up the championship. The battle for second still well and truly on, and we'll determine who's going to prevail with second in the points race over a 45-minute race, which will include 2 compulsory splashes and dashes. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, that gets underway. Now, because of the later finish there, GT3 from the circuit from the south, too much Le Mans is never enough, right? 24 hours of the majors last weekend, 24 hours of the real world thing this weekend, an extra hour and a half from us next Monday night just to finish it all off. As I said earlier in the day, I was chatting to David Kirby this week, so too Michael Angus. The boys are eyeing off a return to the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Nice to see some familiar faces, some prior to now prominent club members that have been gone, come and went, returning to the fold and getting back out there, hopefully next Monday night around the Circuit de la Sarre. 90 minutes, 2 compulsory pit stops. Our coverage comes from the Pro Split. It's between Edmonds and Mitcham for the title. It's 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. Hope you can join us for that. The McLaren Formula 1 car from the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps on Tuesday night for the Committee's Choice race, 50-minute race. And 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the server opens for that, the final of the Committee's Choice. Then Bathurst is the playground. Mount Panorama, the venue, next Wednesday night. Super sprint format for the Toyotas, and again, because that's a longer race format for them than what we're used to, the addition is at the start of the program. It's a 10-minute race into a 15, into a 25. So 10, 15, 25, 50 minutes worth of racing, 3 bites of the cherry, compulsory pit stop in race 3, invert top 8 for race 2, invert top 12 for race 3, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and because of the later finish there, we start the Supercars from Mount Panorama Ballast at the later time of 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the finale there. I'm expecting an extra few cars and drivers and bums in seats, cars on the grid next Wednesday night, purely because it is Mount Panorama. Expect a few to come out of the woodwork for that one, just for cameo appearance, because it's Bathurst, no other reason. The action from the Supercars, the Elite Split, the Dev Split. Amor's got it wrapped up in the Dev Split, we believe. The Elite Split's going to go right down to the wire. All the action over a 60-minute enduro, 150 points on the line. Next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adam Lavis and I will be here for that. With a view to what's coming up, there's the Waste Options Formula 3 point standings for you, just recapping them. So, on paper, that says 92 points to Aidan Cale, but because he's got 104 sitting there as his worst drop round, he cannot be beaten with what happens next week. Whatever happens, with 150 points on the line for the win, he is the champion. It is it. That is done. It's over. The battle will be Braden Sagasser, Adam Funslow, although even then, that's in Sagasser's lap, really. 53 points, that'd be a monumental swing for Adam Funslow. Everything would have to go right there, and something would have to go catastrophically wrong for Braden Sagasser. Craig Bond, 580, 572 for Alex Tzidakis, 567 for Brett Barker, and 555 for Guy Leach. Adam Lavis, 551. Lockie Purvis, John Ball will make up the top 10. Interesting that you've got yourself in a little squabble there. There's a five-way fight for fourth, Adam. 29 points. Something goes wrong for Adam Funslow. He's got 73 points to fall back on. Bondi's got nothing. So he's probably trying to wrap up fourth, hoping that he doesn't have a repeat of tonight's tech issues. But if so much as any one of the above cough and splutter, you've got a chance to jump up into the top 5 potentially.
Possibly, but it also involves me having luck where either I don't get taken out or I don't have an instant open lap. So got to try and get through that and actually get a race cleanly done for a change.
Indeed, that is easier said than done, especially considering that it is Circuit Park Zandvoort as well. So that is, that's the state of play in Formula 3. One of the more dominant seasons you've ever seen put together by Aidan Cale. That has been phenomenal to witness. There's no doubt about that. Now, GT3, when we went off of the air on Monday night, Adam was still crunching the numbers of Pro-Am. So, Matt Schmidtke, 700. Look at Dane Snadden. Bloody hell, look at Dane Snadden. 700 plays 687. Snadden's won the last 5 races on the trot, and the reward is second in the championship by only 13 points. He can win this thing next week, snatch it at the death from Schmidtke or Sean Benici, of course. Now, it's interesting too because Snadden and Schmidtke have the same worst drop round, 77 to fall back on should anything go tits up next Monday night. Now, if that's the case, everyone then keeps an eye on Sean Benici and what he can bring to the table, but Snadden can't catch Schmidtke with a 0 result next week. He needs to beat him on track and beat him in his own game. Ferrari versus Lambo versus McLaren for the title, and don't rule Brad Coates out either. 48 points is a long way back, but who knows? Stranger things have happened in a 90-minute finale at Le Mans. Paul Wood is 5th, and David Baz, Jordan Pianozola, 6 different manufacturers in the top 7, 7 in the top 8. 7 in the top 10 now, actually, because there's a double up of both Aston and Porsche in there, with the Ferrari double up already in the top 6. Dave Oliver slipped out. Greg Heaney slipped out at the expense of Dave Oliver, who's jumped into the top 10 as a result of that strong result that we spoke to him about on Monday night. Not such a strong a result in the Supercar tonight, obviously. 478 plays 473, that battle for 10th between Oliver and Heaney. Oliver has nothing to lose. He's got everything to play for next week. He cannot afford a bad result because he's got nothing to fall back on, whereas Heaney and Atkins do in the battle for 10th, 11th and 12th. So we did have 8 manufacturers in the top 10. We now only have 7 because the Audi that was in the 10 has been displaced. And Dave Oliver up from 15th to 10th as a result of that double silver at the Red Bull Ring. And he could still make up more ground yet. 149 points covers the top 8. But more importantly, 98 covers the top 7. So it's going to be a long shot for anyone beyond Brad Coates, but never say never in this caper. excellent stuff. Now, with a view to what's coming up, I've already had a few people asking. July 6th is the date you need to put in your diary. It's all good to come and sign up and join in the fun of the fair and go out there and turn some laps in anger before then. But if you want to start a season fresh slate, blank slate, and put yourself properly in the mix to be a championship contender, and you missed the boat this season, you've missed the opportunity to do it through the first half of the year, but you want to come and be involved, July 6th is the start, the commencement of Monday Night Motorsport for Term 3, which means July 8 for Wednesday night, July 9 for Thursday night, July 10 for Friday night. But yes, there's a couple of people that are lining that up because the universe hasn't been so kind to them through the first half of the year. Circumstances have prevented them from being here on a regular basis. But it's nice to have a few people asking questions with regards to when we're getting underway with a brand new season, a level playing field. And as I say, a blank slate, because that means everybody's starting afresh on zero, and everybody's in the same boat on an even keel. So keep an eye out for that. July 6 is when we get underway for the new term on the platform, on the platforms of the GSRC, which means next week we're going to be talking more about what the guys are going to be doing during the break, what their car selection for GT3 might be, what they've made of content drops and new updates and everything else that's come in, BOP adjustments and whatever else. So it'll be fascinating, and how they intend to spend their time off as well. But on the subject of that, we're going to get off air because it's 11 o'clock and I've been knackered for the last hour. I've limped through, I don't know how, but I can feel the bags on my eyes. They're getting heavier and heavier as we get closer to the end of the day. Hope you enjoyed all of that. Thank you to you, Adam Lavis. Well done. Good luck out there in the Vs and the Porsches tomorrow night. Try to keep your championship aspirations in the Porsche Open split alive as well. We won't ask about Monday night. We saw the incident at the Red Bull Ring. That was unfortunate because that put pay to what was a really cracking scrap for track position between about 7 of you at that particular point. But and a little bit more awkward because it was a teammate too in Matt Schmidtke. But nonetheless, we're done. Terry Marsh, just to appease the Marsh family, who are just sliding into the chat thread at 11 o'clock. Terry in the elite split at the moment, missed the start of the season, of course, but is sitting 11th at the moment on 525 points, 278 off the leader Blake Fitz, but only 33 off the top 10. So if something was to go awry for someone ahead of him, a top 10 finishing result is still on the table for him in this points race. Merch store, merch.tgsrci.com is where you go for all your GSRC merch and paraphernalia. GSRCmerch.myshopify.com will also take you to the same place if you want to get amongst all of that and grab yourself a nice warm snug hoodie for the months of winter, or a shirt or singlet with summer in mind, or a bucket hat for when you're out on the golf course, or whatever the case may be. Merch.tgsrci.com is where you go for all of that. I mentioned Le Mans practice underway. Should also mention the rest of it as well. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m, the swimming, the NBA finals as well at 10 a.m, the FIFA World Cup pre-event concert at 11, and of course I've already mentioned the cricket at 2:50 tomorrow afternoon. So a lot to look forward to tomorrow, and we're a small part of the action tomorrow night. The Western Bulldogs in Adelaide in the AFL, the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Brisbane Broncos in the NRL. So we'll be going around the grounds throughout the course of the evening as well. Hope you enjoyed all of that. Brad Rudd, denied James Scott the clean sweep on the streets of Belle Isle in Detroit, Michigan. Great to get back to the Motor City. The final sprint race of the season for these guys. The final street circuit of the season as well, because next week it's a different type of public road. It's open public road course next week. It's very different to a street circuit in that regard, by virtue of the fact that at the end of Conrod you've got gravel traps waiting for you. You didn't have any gravel saving you here on the streets of Detroit, but yes, from a street circuit to just general public road next week one of the more famous public road circuits anywhere in the world to bring the curtain down on the campaign. 3 races to go on the 86s. That battle between Sagasta and Snell going right down to the wire. Then the 60-minute race for the supercars. Hope you can join us for all of that. Hope you'll also join us tomorrow night for another super sprint treat from the Formula Vs and the last of the 2 race sprint rounds from the Porsches before a 6-night feast of action, a 6-race rather, night feast of action next Thursday night. So a smorgasbord offering 3 races from each 6-race program. Cannot wait to see how it all plays out next Thursday night. The Bend and Sandown in focus for the V and Porsche finale respectively. On behalf of Adam Lavis, all the broadcast commentary and production team here, I'm Zach Caban. Thanks so much for your company. Been a big day, of course. Varley Neil Danaher, great to see such a touching tribute paid to him in his state funeral at the Melbourne Cricket Ground earlier today. And looking forward to, obviously, a different type of show on that same stage next Wednesday night with State of Origin Game 2. And good luck to the girls, obviously, who'll be up against Bangladesh in the T20 Women's World Cup at the same time. A big month of sport continues. Go and watch Le Mans, everybody. Practice underway there and continuing through until 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. From all the crew here, I'm Zach Caban. Have a great evening, everybody. See you back here tomorrow night. And until then, it's bye for now.